800-873-7171. 800-873-7171.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. Question for you. How many healthcare providers do you know who schedule downtime in their offices for team training? Not many. But my good friend, dentist and board-certified prosthodontist Dr. Robert Bentz does that because he wants to ensure that he and his staff are well-versed in all the latest technology, so when he invests in new state-of-the-art equipment for his patients, he can rest assured that he and his staff can maximize the performance of the new technology. One of their latest investments is the Trios 5 scanner. Talk about amazing. The Trios 5 has an incredible design which reduces the potential for patients gagging or experiencing discomfort during the impression-taking process. Plus, the process is much faster, which saves Dr. Bentz and his patients precious time. The scans are done, the plan is made, and the on-site lab gets to work. Dr. Bentz and his staff are a well-oiled machine when it comes to your comprehensive dental care. They're always working to make that experience as comfortable and as seamless as it can be. Visit them at bentzdentalgroup.com.
I feel like I'm constantly cleaning hair off my bathroom floor. At least my Swiffer Sweeper makes it easy. Sweeper heavy-duty dry cloths have ultra-thick pads to trap and lock hairs, like a hair magnet. And when I'm finished cleaning up my hair, Sweeper takes care of his too. Now the hair is gone, all thanks to Swiffer. Try Swiffer Sweeper heavy-duty dry cloths. I promise you'll love them or your money back. And also try Swiffer Sweeper Wet to make quick work of tough, sticky messes.
WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. Always live on the free Odyssey app. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Live and local from Philadelphia. Free speech lives here. It's Kayal and Company on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
And away we go, live on this Monday, September 25th. It is indeed Kayal and Company here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Always live on the free Odyssey app, and of course streaming live for your video viewing pleasure on YouTube as we head until 10 o'clock this morning. 855-839-1210, the phone number, Twitter and Instagram at 1210 WPHT. Dawn Stenzlin with the news, Greg Stocker, the chairman of the board, Daniel Valdez, Anthony Dorenzo, our associate producers. What a weekend. What a weekend it was. And another work week is upon us. Dawn, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Doing great. Happy Monday.
Yeah, buddy. Gregory.
Did anybody order rain?
No.
Oh, God.
Rain, go away.
Oh, my Lord.
Come again another day.
Just stop already with the rain.
I know. We need to dry out a little bit here.
I thought this morning, when in the wee hours of the morning when I left, the rain would be gone.
Nope. Not gone. We got a lot of good stuff to get to this morning. Gold bars with Bob.
Gold bars.
We've got Biden down double digits to Trump. Jason Kelsey really is the best Kelsey.
He is.
Swifties.
Just stop. Yeah.
I'll tell you what. If I see her one more time on my stinking television.
Oh, no.
Oh, will you stop?
Yeah. For the love of God. Taylor Swift blew her nose. Let's get 4 different camera angles on it, Joe.
He's right, Don. It's nauseating.
Oh.
Like enough with her.
Like, I got it. I got you.
Here's the answer.
Uh-oh.
Talk about
Talk amongst
how
yourselves.
being a football mom is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get.
Exactly right.
She's Donna Kelsey, #1 football mom.
The fair weather fandom in her. Just bleh.
Good luck going back to Berks County, girl.
Yeah, exactly.
On the football front and the political front.
Yeah, don't forget, sweetie, we have the receipts.
That's
right.
Here we go.
You with Eagles sweatshirts on.
Eagles tonight, by the way.
Singing about Eagles fans and everything. Didn't we play something of her doing Fly Eagles Fly?
We did.
Stop. Just enough with that.
Well, I think that your question of the morning should be, what does she switch more? Does she switch men more or teams more?
Yeah.
Is she going through more teams or men?
Well, that's,
right?
Good question.
A lot of boyfriends.
I mean, Dawn brings up something like, does she have some, like, what's her deal? Is she a little psycho?
A little bit. Yeah,
She just,
I mean, she's
hasn't found the right one.
Okay.
Neither has AOC.
Oh,
Bring it over.
AOC did.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Either that or she's bat bleep crazy.
Yeah.
Remember?
We got to get Swift and AOC and Bobert together. Do a podcast. By the way, did you see Sloppy and Jerry's Box yesterday?
Yeah.
Sloppy Chris Christie in Dallas as the Cowboys lost. How about that?
I'm glad the Cowboys lost.
Yeah.
I know. Eagles can't screw this one up tonight. They got to get this one.
Yeah.
Fetterman update as well today. And also a daddy-daughter weekend recap.
Uh-oh.
And a Sephora update. Oh, yeah.
Sephora.
Oh, yeah. We've got the details.
Sephora. Wait, Nick Kayal at Sephora? This is good.
You know how they say on Kayal and Company, we have the receipts? No, I legitimately have the receipts today.
By the way,
crying.
if you're watching right now on Facebook, Nick Kayal has the Kayal and Company Free Speech Lives Here t-shirt on. We need to...
And the mug.
I was actually going to wear it today, so, like, you and I need to coordinate on days so we don't both wear them.
All right, I've got the shirt every Monday.
Wait,
You take Fridays.
Wait, you lay your clothes out?
No, we'll
Okay.
just establish scheduling
right.
parameters now. I'll wear mine on Monday, you wear yours on Friday.
Gotcha.
We'll bookend this bad boy.
Yep.
All right. A lot of good stuff to get to. A big take following what happened as it was breaking in live real time on the Dawn Show Friday with Mr. Menendez. That'll be the big take. But before all of that, let's get to Dawn Stenzel in round number 1, 6:05 on a Monday morning, and here is the news.
Yes, good morning on this rainy, dreary, slippery, kind of a miserable Monday morning, unless you love the rain. So we're covering all things for the forecast coming up to tell you how warm it's not going to get too warm today. It's we're in the 60s this morning and 65 the high today. So I'll tell you when we're going to get a break, though, from all the rain. So a downed tree, we're being told, likely caused a gas explosion and fire that led to the evacuation of more than 100 people. This is in Yeadon, Delco, Pennsylvania, and 100 people had to be evacuated from apartments, from their homes, including a large senior living facility. This, according to firefighters and investigators, say that the downed trees on the wires there late last night on West Providence Road likely caused this chain reaction as remnants from the coastal storm Ophelia bring heavy wind and rain continuing through the morning to our region. So responding firefighters discovering a gas leak in that area out of precaution had to evacuate those 100 people. So this taking them into the early hours of this morning. We know that PECO was on scene. People have lost power, and the crews are there trying to restore power there. What a horrible crash also in Delaware County. Yesterday initially started as a police pursuit, we're told, by Chester officers. So police say they followed the suspect into Brookhaven, and then several vehicles ended up smashed. A lot of people were injured here. So it happened last night. Chester police trying to stop a stolen vehicle, and that pursuit then took police into Brookhaven as they followed that stolen vehicle. So the driver of the stolen car crashing at the intersection of Edgemont and Brookhaven roads and left quite a scene of mangled vehicles, and multiple people were rushed to area hospitals. I'm not hearing of life-threatening injuries as of yet, so we're waiting for a news conference we're expecting this morning.
Any chance that it was a Hyundai or a Kia? Just a guess on my part.
I know it's weird how I know that they're trying to fix the newer Hondas and Kias, right? They don't have the problem with the break-in,
Yeah.
right? But the older ones, they're still having problems with it.
Feels like it's always like a 2014 Hyundai. I don't know.
Yeah,
I could be wrong, but
No,
that
you're right.
seems to be the trend.
because they figured out how they can easily just start it
Yep.
with a USB cord. It's
Mhm.
crazy. A 3-year-old struck and killed in a pedestrian crash. That's Newcastle County. As now we're learning that an off-duty Wilmington firefighter was involved in this accident. So again, another news conference that we are expecting to hear much more today. But police locating a 3-year-old little boy rushed to the hospital in critical condition, where he later died. A real tragedy there in the community. Wilmington police say they're still investigating, and the Wilmington Fire Department says it is expecting to release more information this morning. So many stories that we expect updates. And as well, will he resign? Will he resign or won't he? United States Senator Bob Menendez, and it was a story that broke, and there are new developments. Bob Menendez and his wife federally indicted on those allegations. They accepted bribes, allegedly, in the form of gold bars, a luxury car, an apartment from wealthy businessmen. I know it's your big take, Nick Kayal, but I will say this. If my husband, who often does not hang up his suit coats.
I heard you say this Friday.
Right? I couldn't get over that because it goes to I'm like, you know what? If I had hung up those suit coats, there would have been no evidence.
I'm driving home listening to you, and you're breaking it down. I think it was around 10:50, and you were like, all right, let me get back on track. And I'm thinking, yeah, Dawn would definitely go shopping.
Like 100, right? Envelopes full of cash.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
No doubt about it.
I'm going to every mall I'm going to Piazza.
Yep.
Right? What do you think? I'd pick up Nick. He'd help me pick out maybe, I don't know, Porsche.
Dawn, my daughters take more thought and effort and time into hiding my other daughter's cell phone than these people did to hide cash and gold bars.
It's unbelievable. And I saw over the weekend, I know you're going to talk about who's asking him to resign. So let me just say, in sports, it's such a great time to be a Philadelphia sports fan. Eagles at Tampa Bay, Bucks tonight. And will we win another one? We will be.
Eagles!
I think we would be the only team, right, in the NFL who would be.
Not in the NFL, no. The Miami Dolphins
are
the best team in the.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah.
Only team in the division.
Ones
now
that matter.
Yeah.
Ones that matter. They scored 70 points yesterday.
Yeah, the Dolphins actually just scored again during Dawn's news.
I mean,
yeah, that was just weird.
They're the greatest. No, it's not. I mean, they're fabulous.
All right, we don't want to hear about them. Phillies start a new series via the Pirates tomorrow, 6:40. One win. We're one away. We win and we're in. One away from
taking it down to the wire, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
The last game is October 1st.
Yep.
Which, by the way, you can hear right here on 1210 WPHT. The last game of the season.
Okay.
So 62 degrees right now in the NBC 10 first alert forecast. And the high today, well, they're saying it's 65, but we'll reach that earlier. So then before sundown, we actually start going way down in the temperatures, wind picking up, and rainy and kind of nasty throughout the day today. Sorry, not a great day. It looks like, when are we going to be out of this? Tomorrow, 61 with a 50+% chance that we'll see more showers. We finally see sunshine on hump day, Wednesday, 65 degrees and sunny. Maybe Tony Bruno can help us do a sun dance.
That'd be nice.
This is first edition of Kayal and Company News Live.
All right, Dawn, thank you very much. 6:12 on this Monday morning as we kick off another week with another Big Take.
The Big Take on Kayal and Company.
All right, the Big Take this morning from Bob to Biden. The bribes continue. We all know that politicians are scumbags. 99% of them line their pockets for their bottom line and to enhance their net worth for their family and themselves. And sure, there are a few who are really good people, and while many enter with good intentions, the money, power, and control, ultimately too much to resist. Many talk a good game, say they'll shake things up, and ultimately succumb to the bureaucracy and only become part of the problem and not the promised solution. On Friday, we saw once again how a Democrat is corrupt, and the exposure hits home locally right here in New Jersey with Senator Bob Menendez, Democrat from New Jersey, being charged with bribery offenses in a federal indictment out of the Southern District of New York. The unsealed indictment alleges that from 2018 to 2022, Menendez and his wife engaged in a corrupt relationship with 3 other individuals. The Menendez family had apparently between $400,000 and $500,000 worth of gold bars from a New Jersey developer and former bank chairman, and for his associates in a swap for Menendez reaching out to the Justice Department to aid the admitted felon accused of bank crimes. Geez, where have we heard of something like this before? A politician, a Democrat, doing shady business dealings with shady individuals and using power and privilege in a pay-for-play scheme that also includes the phrase Justice Department being mentioned in the story. Oh, yes, that's right. Joe, Hunter, Burisma, and names such as Merrick Garland and David Weiss. Knew something sounded similar here. Fox News legal analyst Jonathan Turley believes that this is a major bombshell that could work against the Democrats big time. Turley said, quote, "This is an extraordinary development for Washington. I just arrived by train. This is going to rock the city because Menendez is obviously a fixture in this city. He's been accused of corruption before. Ironically, he was in my jury during the last judicial impeachment trial of a judge accused of the same type of corrupt practices. And yet, even though he had been previously alleged to have committed these acts, he had no problem serving on that jury. Now this time has really come back with a vengeance for the senator. I mean, he was able to dodge that bullet 6 years ago. This thing is a real monster of an indictment. I mean, they're charging classic acts of bribery and, the denial of honest services as a senator. It's going to create a serious problem for the Democrats. This is a razor-thin Senate. He's going to have to continue in his position. They can't afford to lose his vote. And so in the middle of an impeachment inquiry into the president, you're going to have a sitting senator who's facing these colossal criminal charges coming out of the Southern District of New York. That was a quote from Jonathan Turley on Friday on Fox News. You'll hear from him coming up in just a moment. And the reality is this: Jonathan Turley is not biased. He's not a conservative or Republican talking head on Fox News. He's giving his expertise of how the justice system works, the rule of law, and the political implications. And when Turley speaks, people listen. So once again, we have another Dem and influence peddling, bribery. As Turley says, the good old-fashioned kind. And it's classic Dem hypocrisy. Rules for thee, but not for me. And the arrogance on top of it. He was lucky to get away with what happened in 2017 when his case resulted in a hung jury. That right there is just downright ego and privilege from the standpoint of thinking he could beat the rap again. Here's Turley on Fox News expounding more upon this bombshell on Friday as Bill Hemmer asks Turley how the disgraced senator will defend himself. Listen.
Bill, you really put your finger on the shocking aspect of this. This town it floats on a sea of corruption, but it tends to be a little more finesse than you see here. Usually these are not direct payments, direct goods, direct benefits of this kind. This is why I call this sort of a classic bribery allegation. It's rare that you see this type of series of gifts going to a major politician. What's really particularly breathtaking is that Menendez just barely dodged this bullet 6 years ago. So you would think that he and his family would avoid even the suggestion of any influence peddling or bribery in connection with his office. But according to the Southern District of New York, after they dodged that bullet, they were open for business. I mean, this is an extensive series of benefits accrued, according to the prosecutors, in exchange for public favors.
This comes after Robert Torricelli was accepting bribes in New Jersey just 22 years ago, back in 2001. Perhaps you saw the video clip. He had one of the most adamant, outraged, public denial press conferences you will ever see. Of course, he was lying and full of crap, but it made for great theater. And here are the charges brought against Bob Menendez 22 years later. Listen and watch to the attorney break this down.
Today I'm announcing that my office has obtained a 3-count indictment charging Senator Robert Menendez. The senator and his wife accepted hundreds of thousands of dollars of bribes in exchange for Senator Menendez using his power and influence to protect and to enrich those businessmen and to benefit the government of Egypt.
Cash in envelopes, cash in jacket pockets, cash in gold bars in the closet. The audacity of the Menendez family, and also the stupidity. You didn't even try to hide it. At least the Bidens have tried to hide everything through shell companies and dispersing payments through a litany of bank accounts. Not the brightest thing ever, but certainly there was more of an effort put into trying to hide the political corruption than what the Menendezes did, 6 years removed from getting away with the first one. My twin 9-year-old daughters could have hidden the cash in the gold bars better than Bob did. Our very own Matt Rooney of The Matt Rooney Show, Sundays at 7 here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, was on with Jesse Waters on Friday night on Fox News, and he offered his take. Listen and watch.
We're used to a better class of criminal in New Jersey, Jesse. I have to be honest with you. This is more like this extra season of The Sopranos that we all always wanted. It's so obvious. It's so out in the open. And this is one of the reasons why Bob Menendez is in such trouble. His last indictment, he got off because of a hung jury last time around. It was a little more subtle. A longtime friend gave him some rides on a plane. For the uninitiated in corruption, it wasn't quite black and white. This is, unless it's changed since I was paying attention many years ago, you don't give a member of Congress gold bars just to be friendly.
This is certainly something that looks like black and white should stick, but of course, as we know, allegations are allegations until proven otherwise. And as long as money is in politics, this will continue to happen, and money isn't going away. But take note of the way this is all covered. Last week, Lauren Boebert, 16-year-old, acting like a girl on prom night at a movie theater. She's a deplorable, and people come out and say, Lauren Boebert should resign. Donald Trump, bookkeeping problem with a former porn star. He gets prosecuted by an overzealous district attorney trying to deliver on a campaign promise. The Bidens, the Menendezes, nailed in bribery and pay-to-play schemes where it's as clear as day, peddling their political influence. And it's only covered by the mainstream media when it looks like it's undeniable or extremely likely that something is wrong here. But then again, that's the difference between being a D and being an R. And that's the big take.
The Big Take on Kayal and Company.
All right, big take this morning. If you want to jump in, thoughts and reactions to Gold Bars with Bob, 855-839-1210, the phone number, 855-839-1210. On Twitter and Instagram at 1210WPHT, or, of course, be a part of the Kayal and Company comment community on YouTube. Just go to youtube.com/@1210WPHT. We'll get everybody's thoughts and reaction when we come back on the big take. But first, let me tell you about my friends at the Piazza Auto Group. No gold bars in my Honda Ridgeline. Nope, just me, my daughters. Good weekend, lugging around all sorts of gifts. And I got to tell you, Ridgeline came into play. Back seat was loaded up with birthday presents, the bed of the truck with groceries. But I tell you what, it's getting to that point now. We had a lot of rain this weekend, and I was going up and down the Northeast Extension. No issues in the Honda Ridgeline. So bad weather, snow, winter, bring it on. I'm ready. And if you're a truck person like me and you need the space, the convenience, the size, and the guaranteed safety, you should check out Piazza Honda in Springfield. That's where I went. Or Philadelphia, Langhorne, Pottstown, or Reading to take advantage of 0.9% APR. Or if you're not in the market for a truck, that's just fine. They've got special finance rates on the Honda Civic, the Accord, the CR-V, the Pilot, and many other great models. The Piazza Auto Group, now with 17 brands. So they've got a model and a brand for everybody out there in 35 locations. Accessibility, convenience, all with the Piazza Auto Group. That's why they're my go-to for all things automotive. To find your new or certified pre-owned vehicle today, just check them out online, piazzaautogroup.com.
When your people are ready, your business is ready. Cintas makes sure they have what they need to perform their best. Whether it's freshly laundered work apparel for almost any job imaginable, fire protection systems that are tested and inspected, first aid and safety supplies, floor mats, or cleaning tools and restroom products, stocked and ready when you need them. Better work days happen together, so visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
I'm Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I learned about atrial fibrillation the hard way. My symptoms would come and go, shortness of breath, fatigue. I kept going. Then I got so lightheaded, I couldn't. My doctor said I have AFib, so I'm about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. Other symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain can come and go, but the risk of stroke stays. If you have symptoms, tell a doctor. Visit NoTimeToWait.com.
Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Hi, it's John DeMasi, host of Health Watch, Sunday mornings at 8 and again at 4 here on Talk Radio 1210. If you or someone you know has been diagnosed with cancer or undergoing treatments that cause severe fatigue or brain fog, medical hydration may be right for you. Dr. Molly Fantasia of Innovative Medical Associates has more than 30 years experience in helping cancer patients to improve their quality of life.
We believe in medical hydration. We've improved it so much that we are able to help people across the board with challenges before they become chronic.
Nutrients delivered right to the cells support your immune system through surgery, chemotherapy, or wherever you may be on your cancer journey. Visit InnovativeMedicalAssociates.com to schedule a free consultation with Dr. Molly in their Marlton, New Jersey office. And join us on Sunday mornings at 8 and again at 4 for Health Watch to learn more about the benefits of medical hydration for cancer, autoimmune diseases, and more.
Don't take shots just to lose weight. NJ Diet's typical results are twice as fast without any of the side effects. You will lose a contractually guaranteed 20 to 40 plus pounds in only 40 days, the natural way. Go to njdiet.com. That's njdiet.com.
See Joe Conklin with the City Rhythm Orchestra at the Miller Center in Reading on Wednesday, October 18th. And at Springfield High School in Delaware County, Saturday, November 11th.
Oh my God, it was amazing.
I loved it.
All his voices are fabulous, and the fact that he sings.
I couldn't imagine how good it would be with the orchestra. Awesome show.
I've never laughed so much my cheeks hurt. I'm like, yeah.
That's Conklin and City Rhythm at the Miller Center in Reading and at Springfield High School in Delco. For tickets, go to joeconklin.com. joeconklin.com!
This is Larry Steinhess of Investor Schooling. I am so proud to announce the continuing success of our students at Investor Schooling. You already know that at Investor Schooling, we teach real estate investing and stock options. Did you also know that we teach things about tax savings, estate planning, and business coaching as well? We teach things about money I bet you never knew. At Investor Schooling, we teach from the perspective of true experience. If you want to see what our students think about Investor Schooling, please check out the over 160 5-star Google reviews. To find out more about how you can change your financial life, go to investorschooling.com or call 866-424-2829. That's 866-424-2829, and you can attend a complimentary class this Thursday at 7 p.m. Attend that class and see for yourself what Investor Schooling is all about. Go to investorschooling.com or call 866-424-2829. That's 866-424-2829. We can't wait to see you this Thursday.
Free speech lives here. Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and on the free Odyssey app.
.26. Welcome back in. Monday morning, it's Kayal and Company, live here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Nick, Dawn, and Greg, 855-839-1210. Get us on the free Odyssey app. Watch us live on YouTube. Coming up later this morning, an exit strategy for Joe. Polling numbers are tanking, as well as Travis Kelce sells out. Taylor Swift dominates yesterday. And have you ever tried to actually dress and live like a Fetterman in a high-end New York City restaurant? Would you get the same treatment in a restaurant that John gets in the United States Senate? Well, the New York Post tried to figure out how that would play out, and we've got the answers. That's coming up as we continue this morning. But big bombshell story on Friday, and that was the theme of the Big Take this morning with Bob Menendez. I know, Dawn, you were kind of reacting to it live on the air and breaking it down throughout the course of the 2 hours from 10 to noon on Friday. But, you know, it's amazing is there's almost such a high level of arrogance here behind the allegations and what he's accused of doing. You think about 22 years ago when Torricelli was accused of doing what he did. Mm-hmm. And then, you know, you would think if you're a guy like Menendez, all right, you were, you know, kind of cornered and backed into a corner in 2017. Should probably be grateful that the jury came back with a hung jury and, you know, you were kind of let out the back door, so to speak, there. And then you kind of just go right back to it, as Jonathan Turley mentioned in that clip where this was going on allegedly from 2018 to 2022. And I guess the only thing that could have been more arrogant is if he would have had the cash and the gold bars underneath his pillowcase or maybe under the mattress in his bed, which is where criminals usually put drugs and guns and cash. Yet he was allegedly stuffing gold bars and cash right in his suit jackets that have his name on the pocket. Like, why don't you just hold up a sign saying, hey, I've got some illegal activity going on here. And, oh, by the way, I'll put my name on it so there's no doubt as to what is going on here. Your thoughts and reaction from Friday to now, because obviously some things developed over the weekend for sure.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, they, you know, Bob Menendez and his wife Nadine say that they, hey, we have a justice system here and they should be considered innocent until proven otherwise. They deny all of these accusations and say they can explain all of it. So they've lawyered up. Mm-hmm. I think, you know, so, okay, that's what they say. I don't know how you get out of that.
Right.
Because the one detail that they made sure to release was that inside those envelopes of cash, which, as you said, and they went into great detail during that Friday news conference, that inside they had envelopes of cash. The cash is in the jacket and in multiple jackets, and that they found the DNA of then.
Right.
They matched the DNA of those businessmen accused in this bribery, pay-for-play type scheme. So they claim, the federal prosecutors claim, that they've really buttoned this thing up, dotted their I's. But I will say as well that this puts Democrats in a pickle, as you were talking about in your big take, because Governor Phil Murphy, I know Senator Fetterman over the weekend, many have said, Bob Menendez, you got to step down. Why? Because he's up for re-election in 2024.
And he's insisting that he's not going anywhere. And today there's going to be a press conference to elaborate upon that.
Well, I mean, Governor Phil Murphy, so he could appoint somebody. And that way you hold that Democrat, you hold that seat, right? And so this way, now if he stalls and then there's a chance for the Republicans to move in, I mean, that would be quite a coup that nobody saw coming.
Well, Andy Kim from the 3rd District said on Saturday that he plans to challenge indicted Senator Menendez in the Democratic Party. Quote, after calls to resign, Senator Menendez said, quote, I'm not going anywhere. As a result, I feel compelled to run against him, said Kim from the 3rd District in a statement. Quote, this is not something I expected to do, but I believe New Jersey deserves better. And when he's saying New Jersey deserves better, he's saying, no, you should not have allegedly $480,000 stashed in envelopes, closets, and a safe, thousands of dollars in $20 and $100 bills stuffed into the pockets of one of Menendez's jackets bearing the logo of the Congressional Hispanic Caucus, of which Menendez is a member. Images included in the indictment show. So, I mean, it looks like open and shut. And, usually, generally speaking, when the feds get to this level with these levels of details, they usually don't swing and miss. They usually have you dead to rights. But he's going to play the denial game, I guess, all the way through. I don't know how he's going to come out with a defense. You heard Jonathan Turley kind of break that down with Bill Hemmer. Good luck with that. But, I guess he will go kicking and screaming. And then just the comparisons to, the Bidens in general. You have stamped gold bars. You have, stuff involving the country of Egypt. And then, of course, there's a car. There's always a car, right? You have a Mercedes convertible. I mean, Joe likes a Corvette, usually in his garage with classified documents stacked in it. But in 2019, Menendez's wife got her dream car, a black 2019 Mercedes convertible with a soft top, which is always an interesting look. I'm not a big fan of the soft top. And a $60,000 price tag. So, I'm not surprised by any of this. As I said in the big take, I think 99% of all politicians are scumbags, criminals, and corrupt. Occasionally you get one that's a really good person. And I think most kind of enter politics trying to change people and change, their constituents in the areas that they govern. And they have good intentions. And then they get caught up in all of this. But the thing that bothers me the most is, the way we have to frame everything, which I do believe in a lot of legal stuff. You are innocent until, you're presumed innocent until proven guilty. But I love how that is always the mantra for the Democrats. Yet on the other side of things, whether you want to look at Trump or any other level below Trump on the Republican side of things, it's, well, you're guilty until you prove you're not guilty. Or even if it's something as petty as, Lauren Boebert and her new man getting a little touchy-feely. She should resign. Okay, so she's making out with a dude and vaping, and this guy's got $500,000 in gold bars. Yeah. I mean, a little bit, kind of a stark difference in criminal offenses, so to speak.
This whole thing is so comically stupid meaning that it just, I don't know, like when you think of corruption and you think of corrupt politicians, you said in your big take that at least the Bidens allegedly tried to cover it up with, shell bank accounts. Like, this is literally gold bars and cash. And when you think of, like...
It's like a movie.
It is. And it's like when you think of corruption, like this is like the textbook definition of what it is. It almost seems too neat and too I don't know. I just, like, there's something... Look, anybody who's followed Menendez throughout the years knows that this guy is just like he has ethics problems written all over him.
Oh, that's a good word.
So this was no shock to me when I saw that he was, being charged with this bribery stuff on Friday. But I just, the whole thing just seems to me to be a little too textbook. Like, yep, this is how we got him. We found gold bars in his pocket. I don't know.
You suggest foul play?
I'm not
suggesting
anything. I'm not suggesting anything. I'm just saying that, like, when I saw this, I was like, boy, this is way too neat.
Yeah.
It would be
Well, that's the thing, too, is, you talk about just how open and shut this looks to be. Think about this. You had the hung jury in 2017, and then the feds are saying from 2018, so less than a year later, you go back to the same sort of stuff. This would be like being in jail, being arrested on a drug charge. You're acquitted because of a hung jury. And as soon as you get back on the street, you're slinging rock again. Like you didn't learn your lesson, right? And then on top of it, the ways in which they found all of this, like I'm having flashbacks to the American Gangster movie when they caught Frank Lucas. He just had everything right underneath, and it was like clear as day. And then they locked him away for however many years they did when he was, being the drug kingpin in Harlem. Like this is legitimately something I could see in a Hollywood movie script where, the feds bust in and they've got all the cash and all the gold just kind of sitting there. And you're like, not mine. How'd that get there?
Exactly. That's what I'm talking about. Like this whole thing is just a little too neat and buttoned up. And I'm not suggesting for a second that, in my opinion, Bob Menendez is not one of the most corrupt senators out there, because I believe that he is.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying that if it's just a little too neat.
Yeah, and that's the criminal element. Then we look at the political element and just the razor-thin margin in the Senate. And this is what I love about Democrats, because they're cutthroat and they just don't care. Even amidst the calls to resign, that, he's not going to resign. And then here comes Mr. Kim. He wants to challenge because, these things are kind of hanging in the balance between Republican versus Democrat control. And you have a party right now, whether it's Biden at the top, down to a guy like Menendez, over to a guy like Fetterman, to Feinstein. The Democrats don't care. They will drag you to the finish line to hold power. If you are not with it mentally, if you don't even know where you are, regardless of your physical limitations. And then, of course, on top of this, the political corruption here, it's just like win at all costs. When we say that Democrats are diabolical, this is what we're talking about. They don't care about the rules because they already have everything in their favor. There are more of them than there are Republicans. They've got the mainstream media in their back pocket, 10-1 compared to Republicans with media outlets. So, to me, this is clear as day. This is the major advantage that the Democrats have, and this will be talked about. But I would love to know just how much coverage this gets nationally this week, because again, like Friday, you start to check out. It feels like a little bit of a news dump. Then the weekend comes, and some people forget about it. Do you think this will be something that CNN and the mainstream outlets cover hardcore?
Yeah. This is, but I always wonder too. You look at this and you think about Bob Menendez, very powerful, right? He leads the Foreign Relations Committee, which now he's stepping off of. He has to step off of that.
Oh, geez,
and that was part of the allegation by the feds. But with somebody like this, and we've seen this in the past, where they've said, "Oh, really? You're going to come after me? I know everything. I know where." So sometimes I think, okay, they're going after him, and he's a very big fish. So who's the bigger fish? Who or what can he give up? And that's all a game, right, that the feds play.
Mm-hmm.
So if he knows, if all of a sudden, if they're shaking this big tree and all of a sudden you see somebody else go down, I always think this is part of that whole orchestration, the way that they work.
Yeah.
Because they're always looking for the bigger fish.
That's true. Very true.
He's been around a long time, and he's not going down without a fight, or maybe without taking, some others with him.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you see, Don, you were obviously doing TV at the time. You remember the Torricelli stuff from 2001. The video clip of him being adamant that he did nothing wrong was circulating social media over the weekend. It's such a feverish. I remember actually seeing that in high school we had like an intro to politics course in 12th grade that you could take as an elective. and we actually watched that live we had like some sort of chapter called political corruption, and our teacher, and at that time I had no idea, Republican, Democrat, whatever, but he recorded it. This is 2001. He recorded it on his VCR, and the next morning brought it back in and played it for us that day. And I remember that. I'm thinking, like, this is like a football coach having a meltdown with the press after a bad game. And I saw that again, and it's like you watch back to 2001 and you look at it and you're like, man, that looks like 1970.
Yeah,
He did pull out of the race, remember?
It's always good to.
Yeah.
New Jersey is no stranger to corrupt senators and
of course
politicians. I
Yeah.
mean, it's like
It's a tradition.
That state kind of invented that. But it is interesting to me because I was reading one of the stories. I think NJ.com had it over the weekend where it's basically like, Republicans are going to smell blood in the water here. They're going to want like that seat is I don't know.
You don't think
it's not going to go to a Republican?
No. Okay.
But
Go ahead.
You're just to wrap that up with a bow, even though we know this. I mean, the one ultimately that emerged to replace Torricelli, Menendez.
Oh,
yeah,
and that was under the McGreevey. Remember, the McGreevey administration. That whole thing. So wow, welcome to New Jersey.
Yeah, talk about
can't make it up.
It's really you really can't make this stuff up.
When Dawn does her Phil Murphy, New Jersey, from now on, I'm going to have these thoughts going through my head.
Jim on the YouTube chat writes, maybe the senator's just that stupid. Greed got him. Yeah, maybe. I'm not, yes, it's just too comically stupid.
It is. It's just such a high level of arrogance. Like, dude, this is the best you could do?
I can't believe nobody is pulling a tribute to our late, great Jimmy Buffett. Blame a woman. This is relatively new wife. And
yeah, it was
is
Nadine's
the wife?
fault. I told you, stick that in the convertible. That's why we bought the 2019 Mercedes.
I mean, there's no question in my mind that, all politicians are lying, thieving scumbags. But this just takes it to another level.
Yeah,
it
really does.
Just like really, bro, you couldn't have hidden this better.
Mm-hmm.
It's
unbelievable. I had a 20 spot in my smoking jacket. I just left it in the closet.
At least lie to my face while you're,
exactly,
whatting me.
Yeah, darn right.
But think about what you're talking about. Think of those names that we're talking about with Torricelli, who I always liked, and I know that he's reinvented himself and his road to redemption. But I will say this, and I mean on a personal level. I don't mean on a policy or politics level. But think about who emerged out of all of this. I mean, that was that Corzine, McGreevey, that whole debacle, and that gave rise to Governor Chris Christie.
Yep,
there you go.
Which
is Jerry Jones
That's
yesterday.
That's a very good point.
Yep.
Republican. So maybe I'm completely wrong, but
we'll see.
I know the Jersey machine, and it's very blue.
Yeah,
it's very corrupt.
Speaking of the Jersey machine, how about our boy Matt Rooney getting a little spot on Jesse Waters'
Yay,
show?
we're so proud of you.
Nice work, buddy.
He looked so handsome. He looked great.
He did.
I felt like a proud father.
Yeah.
When he sent me the text on Friday saying, "Hey, I'm going to be on with Jesse Waters tonight."
Big 3-day stretch for Rooney. He was on with Jesse on Friday, and he had Valdez's girlfriend on the show last night. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, I told him to hey, make sure you get a plug in there for 1210 WPHT. They called the Matt Rooney Show radio host.
I know. I hate when they go generic.
They
like
do
that.
generic like that. It's not the first. It's nothing against him. They've always done that.
Can't you just put 1210 or WPHT?
When you make enough appearances there, they give you the call letters. But
so Zioli gets the call letters. Rooney doesn't.
Sometimes he does.
Okay.
Not always.
All right.
I remember when he first started going on there, they would just say radio host, and it just infuriated me. I'm like, really, dude? It takes with that whole thing that you write radio host, you can say the Matt Rooney Show 1210 WPHT. It's the same amount of letters.
I totally agree. Oh, well. 855-839-1210, the phone number. Coming up next, we'll wrap up the first hour. Donald Trump now with a double-digit lead on Joe Biden. The details, and also the pundits now offering up exit strategies for Joe. We will get to that as we continue. Kayal and Company live here on this Monday morning. Nick, Dawn, and Greg on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Can the Eagles be the only team to go 3-0 in the NFC East? Tonight we'll find out. Eagles at Tampa Bay. The line right now is Eagles minus 4.5, over under at 45. I would take the Eagles minus 4.5 and the over at 45. Snap into action this NFL season with FanDuel Sportsbook in partnership with Valley Forge Casino. It's America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. That's $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. If you're thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time to get in on the action. I love the FanDuel app. The app is so easy to use. There's a wide range of betting options, including spreads, player props, over-unders, and so much more. FanDuel. Have you done this yet? Why haven't you? Come on, let's go. You can bet on everything from spreads, player props, over-unders, FanDuel.com/Greg, FanDuel.com/Greg, and kick off the NFL season. FanDuel, the official partner of the NFL, and is the official partner of 1210, WPHT, 21 and over, President PA, first online room money wager, only $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued is not withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Volvo Finance, in concert with Cherry Hill Volvo, is offering lease and cash bonuses up to $2,500. Purchase or lease a new XC40 or XC90 through Volvo Finance and through Cherry Hill Volvo and receive this additional bonus along with the aggressive pricing already posted on our Cherry Hill Volvo website. This is a special offer and it is not to be missed. Volvo Finance and Cherry Hill Volvo and you, a perfect partnership.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. If your child needs support, special tutoring, and custom instruction, METC is here to help. Now's the time to call to Kathy Gannon, METC. Call the Motivational Educational Tutoring Company for over 30 years. METC's tutoring studio, founded by educator Kathy Gannon, has helped people of all ages to grow personally and academically. Call Kathy at 215-493-4200. METC offers motivational SAT prep as well as academic skills and leadership training. 215-493-4200. Now's the time to get assistance. For your child to help them succeed, all you have to do is visit online at METC.com. METC's tutoring studio. Call them today, 215-493-4200, or email Kathy directly, info@METC.com. Remember, 1210 listeners receive a free 1-hour consultation. Take advantage of this opportunity to help your child get one-on-one help. 215-493-4200, 215-493-4200.
Hi, this is Dr. Brad Schaefer. As a podiatrist, I can tell you no two people's feet are alike, which is why I recommend Dr. Scholl's custom fit orthotic inserts. They're customized for your feet, so you get a unique solution your feet really need, not just a one-size-fits-all insole. They're clinically proven to provide pain relief for achy feet, knees, lower back, plantar fasciitis, and heels. Take the Dr. Scholl's custom fit orthotics assessment in Walmart today. Now in the foot care aisle.
Hey, Paoli, we know your favorite station is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
She's a good girl, loves her mama, loves Jesus. In America too, she's a good girl. Is crazy about Elvis, loves horses, and her boyfriend too.
Kayal and Company, 647. Welcome back in Monday morning. Hopefully all of you had a great weekend, off to a good start for your work week. It's Nick, Dawn, and Greg here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Get us on the free Odyssey app. Watch us on YouTube. Dawn will have some news to kick off hour number 2. And then we will get to the weekend that was for Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift. Travis Kelce, what a sellout. We'll tell you all the details. And we'll go down the history of this individual and prove once again that Jason Kelce is, in fact, the better Kelce. A John Fetterman update as well. This is such a wild story, but it's almost as wild as what's going on right now. You know, we were talking about Bob Menendez, and you kind of compare what Bob Menendez allegedly did with what Joe Biden allegedly has done with influence peddling and bribery and cars and things like that. And then you get hit in the face with just how much America is starting to wake up to Joe Biden, as the latest polling numbers now have Donald Trump. I can't believe I'm saying this. And again, you sit there and you say, well, you take polls with a grain of salt. But this one just slaps you upside the head. Donald Trump now leads Joe Biden by double digits in a potential head-to-head matchup as Biden trails Trump by 10 points in a new poll. ABC's news political director Rick Klein on the ABC Washington Post poll this week, President Joe Biden's job approval rating is now 19 points underwater. His ratings for handling the economy and immigration now at career lows, and a record number of Americans say that they've become worse off under his presidency, where 3/4 are saying he's too old for another term, and Donald Trump is looking better in retrospect. All severe challenges for Joe in his re-election campaign ahead. 44% of Americans in the latest ABC News Washington Post poll say they've gotten worse off financially under Biden's presidency. I mean, that is almost half of Americans saying, no, Bidenomics are not helping me out in the least bit. And this is the most for any president in the history of the ABC Washington Post poll dating back to 1986. That is 37 years ago. I was 2 years old. So Joe is in historically bad low numbers right now, with just 37% approving of his job performance, which is still fewer of Biden's performance on the economy. His economy performance, the approval rating is at 30%. 7 out of 10 Americans polled in this poll are completely unimpressed with the president and handling the economy. And when it comes to immigration, and we're just coming off of some numbers coming out towards the end of last week that said August at the border under Biden was the worst month on record. So this notion that we don't have an open border is a flat-out lie. Biden's rating even lower. Only 23% of Americans approve of his handling of the border. And you go back and you look at where Trump's approval rating was when he left office. He was at 38%. However, he was sitting at 48% when he was in office. So Joe now is well below the threshold that Trump was at when both were sitting in office in year 3 of their first and only probably terms for both of these guys. Don, I never thought I would be saying this, that, and I said for a while when this show started that I did not think that Donald Trump could win re-election. I still believe in taking polls with a grain of salt, but maybe, just maybe, and I have no idea the political background of these people that were polled in this latest ABC Washington Post poll, but maybe they're starting to realize that, you know what? I didn't like Trump, but man, Biden's corrupt and he's god awful. I'll put my feelings aside and say, you know what? At least my 401k looked good, even though I didn't like Donald J. Trump. Maybe it's the economics that they'll say, like, you know what? It wasn't as bad as I thought. Yeah, there were mean tweets, but darn it, gas was $2.87 and I could afford to spend $200 on a weekend for a family trip. Maybe that could be the case here. But a 10-point lead in this poll, this is not a Fox News poll. This is not, this is an ABC Washington Post poll. You think about the slants to those two names and the results, they're not slanting in Joe's favor.
No, I'm not surprised, but I love, over the weekend, who was it, George Stephanopoulos? Somebody said, oh, well, that poll must be an outlier. By the way, I have to correct myself because I hate when I do this. It was the beloved, late, great Frank Lautenberg, right, who replaced Torricelli.
Okay.
And then it was, going through that order, then it was Menendez.
Okay.
So I just wanted to put that out there because I hate when I know Diane Allen ran for that seat, and so on, the history of New Jersey politics. But no, as far as this poll goes, I'm not surprised at all. And I think that Trump continues to go up in the polls, and I think all the media, once again, they're all shocked, but we're never shocked.
Right.
I'm just never shocked by it at all. And so I think I'm glad that the media
I'm shocked by the margin. Like, we've seen all these other polls. Remember, I was giving these numbers where Trump leads Biden by 1 or by 2, and DeSantis would lose to Biden. And then we gave you the numbers of Nikki Haley up 6 points over Biden in a potential matchup. And then I get hit in the face with Trump double-digit lead. I'm like, oh, maybe times are changing, right? Like, that to me is the takeaway, is just the gap. That, I mean, right now, it just seems like you talk about momentum. Everything working against Biden. Yet Trump actually has more investigations going on, yet his momentum seems to be trending in a positive direction amidst all the legal uncertainties hanging over his, future and freedom.
Yeah, because I think it really, I mean, James Carville had it right back in the day. It is all about the economy.
Mm-hmm.
And you cannot ignore this. And the fact that the Democrats tried to own it and say, oh, Bidenomics, we're doing great. And so everybody's looking around like, you're kidding me, right?
Yeah.
And so to do that to a person and impose basically a tax on every American, but especially the poor feel it, or working poor, middle class, then it becomes like a slap in the face. Like, what do you think, I'm stupid?
Mm-hmm.
That just because you go on and you say this, to me, I think it's all about the economy, and you cannot, this is the one thing that's in people's face that you cannot try to manipulate the media, do whatever you can. Nope.
Yeah, to your point, I had to check my local bank app 3 times this weekend just to make sure I was where I needed to be money-wise and move some things around. I mean, you literally can't escape it on a day-to-day basis. For those that live paycheck to paycheck, it's like, all right, let me open up my app. Did the check clear? Okay, now I can go do X, Y, or Z.
Let me preface this by saying that I do believe that, like, the tide is changing a little bit politically. Let's not get too excited about polls. We're the first to say, it's early, it's polls. I mean, it's only this, it's only that, when they're polls we don't agree with. But when they're polls we agree with, they're like, see, we told you so. Yeah. So let's not, get ahead of ourselves by saying that. That being said, there's two different mainstream polls that they were talking about on the Sunday shows. One is this ABC poll, and the other was an NBC poll, and both of them look very bad for the president.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll play a lot of that coming up in the cut sheet at 7:45.
All right, 855-839-1210, and then I'm only going to reference this because I think it's worth mentioning, and you can read it. I won't try to break it down verbatim. But a opinion contributor for The Hill by the name of Derek Hunter wrote a very interesting piece on an exit strategy for Joe, where he would pardon Hunter and then drop out of the race. The title of the column is How Biden Can Spare His Party, His Family, and His Image. I don't think he can spare his image, but he certainly could spare his party and his family if he goes through with that, pardoning Hunter and dropping out of the race. And it's a good breakdown as to, like, the logistics timeline-wise of how you would do it, how you would frame it, how you would speak and describe it. All that being said, knowing the way Democrats are, I don't see that happening. I do not think Joe will drop out and go through with what this guy lays out as Biden's exit strategy. But it's an interesting read if you want to get to it. It's at The Hill's website at thehill.com. All right, 855-839-1210. We'll kick off hour number 2. Dawn's got some news on the other side. And then we will get to Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift. By the way, Travis Kelce now endorses Pfizer and Bud Light.
Does he?
It's amazing.
And he dates Taylor Swift.
Yeah, he's jumped the shark.
He's gone totally off the deep end to the left, and we'll get into that when we continue. Hour 2, Kayal and Company on the way. We're back after this on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
What's a Walt Disney World thrill feel like? There's only one way to know. Go win a magical vacation package to experience an amazing collection of thrills. On Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, you and your family take control of the Millennium Falcon or launch into the exhilarating world of the Grid on the all-new Tron Light Cycle Run, presented by Enterprise. It's one of the fastest coasters in Disney Park history. Just listen to Kayal and Company weekday mornings at 9:50 for the daily keyword and enter it at 1210wpht.com/contests for your chance to win a vacation to Walt Disney World. Get your thrill on. Limit 1 entry per day per person. This is a national contest.
Hun, we need to stop putting off getting life insurance.
I know. It's just been so busy, and I'm sure the cost is out of our budget.
Well, Jen told me that they got a $500,000 term life insurance policy from Ethos for less than $23 a month. All online with no complicated forms and no medical exam. All they had to do was answer a few health questions.
Wait, no medical exam and all online?
I know, right? It's not easy to think about, but if something happened to you, James and I would be...
Okay, I get it. Let's get a quote from Ethos right now. Wow, you were right. There's no medical exam, and Ethos makes the whole online process fast and easy. And look at these rates and coverage options. It's great protection and totally fits our budget.
Ethos. They've removed all the barriers from getting coverage. Go to checkethos.com to get your free online quote. That's checkethos.com. Quote based on a healthy, non-smoking 30-year-old male with a 20-year term policy. Rates may vary.
I'm Tony Kornheiser, and this is my show. What, you expecting something different? Whether you're looking for deep, insightful dives into the day's top sports stories, that's why we have guests, right, Nigel? Or simply how to get change for 100, you'll find it on the Tony Kornheiser Show. From football picks from the best prognosticators in the business, including a monkey, to real-time baseball playoff analysis, to traffic in an area where you don't live. We got you covered. My friends come on, and you know them. Listen on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3 Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
The future of joint pain relief is right here in the Philadelphia region. QC Kinetics, Advanced Regenerative Medicine. Hey, Dawn Stensland here. If you've been told that more steroids or surgery are your only options, not so fast. Get a second opinion. Learn more about how you can harness your body's own healing agents to attack that joint pain. QC Kinetics does not mask the pain. These treatments go to the very core of the problem, using concentrated healing properties placed directly into your joint, which repairs and restores that damaged tissue. Imagine living life, especially this fall, with no more pain in your knees, your aching shoulder, your back, your hips. No drugs, no surgery, no downtime. Just call the local medical professionals, get a free consultation. QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in regenerative medicine. 215-999-3000. Just call QC Kinetics, 215-999-3000. Tell them Dawn sent you.
Follow Talk Radio 1210 on Instagram and Facebook at 1210 WPHT.
Kayal Company 702. Welcome back in. Hour 2 here on a Monday morning. Nick, Dawn, and Greg. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. The Odyssey app, live on YouTube. Going to be a fun hour here. We will get to the latest with John Fetterman, as well as Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift, and also the cut sheet. Always a great cut sheet on a Monday, coming off of all of the weekend shows. That's coming up at 7:45 this morning. So great last night, sitting there watching the Dallas Cowboys lose as double-digit road favorites and lose, and now they're no longer undefeated. And, of course, tonight we get the Birds on Monday Night Football. Yes, we do.
Yeah.
By the way, second straight Sunday where there was no Eagles game. Because we had a Thursday night and then a Monday night.
I know.
It's so bizarre.
I don't like it.
It's like September. I'm like, where's my life?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, well.
Especially on a weekend that everybody's stuck inside because of the rain.
Yes.
Exactly.
Thank you.
By the way.
Crappy weather. Like, it's the perfect, it would have been the perfect weekend to, oh my God, the Today Show has the Taylor Swift. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
Can't escape it.
You can't escape it. It would have been the perfect weekend for, some good football to watch. And there were decent games, but I mean, no Eagles.
Right. Be a great weekend to, see that Notre Dame Penn State doubleheader on Saturday night with Dawn making some stuff in the crock pot. Of course, there's no crock pot here again.
I know.
Yeah, I know.
The hearty beef chili.
Let me just tell you something about Dawn, Nick. 9 years, 10 years, whatever it's been working with her. If she makes promises on air, she'll never follow through with anything.
I can't help it if they eat all the food that I make and I try to hide stuff in the back of the fridge. It's gone.
There was actually somebody on Twitter who reached out to us last night who was like, hey, I'm making chili, and since Dawn will never bring them in for you, I can bring it in for you.
I saw that. I saw that. Dawn actually puts more effort into hiding the chili in the back of the refrigerator than Bob Menendez does hiding cash and gold bars.
See? They should have asked exactly. Because I could hide stuff.
Yeah, exactly
or
right.
just shop it off.
There you go. 855-839-1210 to climb in. 7:04, hour number 2 on this Monday morning. Let's get round number 2 of the news, and here is Dawn Stensland.
And good morning. We are in for another rainy, drizzly day with chilly weather for sure today. And we are sponsored this morning by Wawa in our Kayal and Company News Live. So in the news today, so much happening, and I'll get to a couple of strikes, strike news, labor news, but I want to stay local first of all, and that is with this downed tree is now being blamed as the cause of that gas explosion and fire that led to the evacuation of more than 100 people. This is Yeadon, Delaware County, Pennsylvania, 100 people forced from their homes, from apartments, many senior citizens who lived in a senior living facility there. So firefighters responding, doing a great job getting everybody out. And this is amazing if you see the video of this and just the wreckage with this explosion and fire subsequent there. But the firefighters did, and first responders got everybody out safely and now looking for a permanent place to stay as many are displaced by this thing. But it looks like the homes that exploded after the tree fell right near a gas line, and that sparked this huge fire, according to investigators. We are expected to learn more. I know Pico crews were busy overnight, as well as those investigators, but we'll continue to follow this one. We have that horrible crash. This is, again, in Delaware County, Delco, Pennsylvania, yesterday. We now know that it started with a police pursuit chase by Chester officers, has to do with a stolen vehicle, and they followed that suspect in the stolen vehicle into Brookhaven, and then ultimately this ended in a crash, smashed up many people's cars. So I saw one woman, I don't know how her first vehicle, she had just gotten a brand new car. She had one car that had broken down, whatever, decided to get a new car, and then, you know, to no fault of her own, it's parked out in the street, and this, you know, car thief ends up totaling her vehicle.
That's a terrible stretch of bad luck. Yeah. If SEPTA was safe, she would probably just bail on her car and start taking public transportation.
Oh, my goodness. So we're expecting more on that one, but quite a scene, and police are expected to hold a news conference. And then the story out of Newcastle County, Delaware, where a 3-year-old little boy was struck and killed. This was in a pedestrian vehicle crash, and we're now learning there was an off-duty Wilmington firefighter involved in that tragic accident there. So we're awaiting more information, but police locating the 3-year-old little boy, transported him, rushed him to the hospital in critical condition. Doctors tried, obviously, but could not save his life. So that one is under investigation. We don't hear of any charges, but we know they're going to hold a news conference. Union news. So union leaders and Hollywood studios reportedly reaching a tentative agreement yesterday to end this historic screenwriter strike.
Oh, wow.
After nearly 5 months, but no deal is yet in the works, we're told, for the striking actors.
So SAG-AFTRA, yes.
Yeah.
The other one, no. SAG-AFTRA, no. The other one, yes.
Yeah, Writers
Gotcha.
Guild of America.
Yeah.
Looks like they have a deal.
So late night shows will be back in production, but yet
No, they're not going to go until everybody's back.
They got to have everybody
Okay.
back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you could say we're halfway home,
Okay.
maybe. And then as far
Our
as
long national nightmare is over, folks.
You know, if you didn't tell me the writer's strike was going on, I wouldn't notice.
It's a good point. Such a great point.
And, of course, we've been updating you every day on the UAW strike, the United Auto Workers, a powerful national group of unions across the nation with the big three. We've never seen this historic level of strike nationally. But Pete Buttigieg, Mayor Pete, Transportation Secretary, announced that President Joe Biden is joining the UAW picket line because he's deeply pro-worker.
Right. He's deeply pro everything he claims to be. We'll see about that.
Look, I'm talking politically. It's a smart move.
Oh, of course it is.
Good look.
Absolutely.
It's a very good look for him.
Mm-hmm.
So he heads to Michigan tomorrow to meet with striking United Auto Workers union members. And the president, we're told, will join the picket line tomorrow and stand in solidarity with the men and women of UAW.
You know, last time I looked at my map, I think you have to go through Ohio to get to Michigan, right?
Yeah.
I'm just thinking about my Big Ten football map. I got Penn State, Ohio State, Michigan.
Yeah.
247 days since East Palestine.
Thank you.
He could make a beeline.
He's gonna fly around the state.
Stop by. You know, since he's headed there tomorrow, what if Trump showed up today?
That would be brilliant.
This is a great strategy.
Yeah,
Yep.
it would be. Yep.
I mean, I would laugh out loud. I really would.
Politically, you need to be on the side of these workers.
Yeah.
You really do.
Imagine Trump showing up today in Michigan, handing out pizzas or something, or going to like a diner and giving out free breakfasts.
Yeah, he should. He should.
By the way, he blasted Howard Stern over the weekend on Truth. We'll get to that later.
Uh-oh. Trump did.
They used to be buddies, I guess.
Can we stop?
Oh,
with
that's
the-
right. He used to be on a show, right,
Mm-hmm.
Greg?
Can we stop with the tweeting about irrelevant figures? Like, seriously.
Mm-hmm.
Who?
Wow, look at you calling Howard Stern irrelevant.
Well, no, I mean, like, no,
Yeah.
he's irrelevant now.
Well-
He changed this genre of radio.
Well, you know, and this goes back to last week when Stern was saying I'm woke, and I guess that means that I don't support Trump, and that got back to Trump. So Trump blasted Stern for his now irrelevance in satellite radio land.
So a guy running for president is concerned about what Howard Stern has to say.
I am woke, mother, and I love it.
Just ignore him. Just seriously. Everybody should just ignore him. Honestly, I don't know why people are falling into this trap.
Yep.
Don't fall into the trap.
Don't take the bait.
We have, before I get to the forecast real quick here, it's football night, Eagles at Tampa Bay Bucks tonight. Eagles! And Phils, our Philadelphia Phillies. We swept over the weekend and against the Mets, and we start the new series via the Pittsburgh Pirates tomorrow, 6:40 p.m.
This feels like deja vu all over again last fall.
It does.
You know, we started this show on October 3rd. Eagles were undefeated. Phillies were in the playoffs. Here we are, September 25th, and it's just the same thing again. It's deja vu.
Next week will be our 1-year anniversary show.
That's right.
Wow.
And we'll be forgotten about as the Phillies and the Eagles go on their championship run by all the bosses down the hall.
Damn.
We'll be kicked to the curb.
Damn.
Yeah, we'll get back to 12-10. We've got playoff baseball and an undefeated football team.
Yeah.
No time for that station down in the hall in the corner. Be happy you got your mugs and your T-shirts.
Welcome to my world.
All right. Before I get to the forecast, we are sponsored by Wawa. Wawa has pizza. Yes, Wawa has pizza, and it's freshly made. Brought to you by Wawa, who now has pizza starting at 4 p.m. Because, you know, when you're driving with the kids and then they order it and then you get there and they go, yeah, it doesn't start till 4.
Right.
So just remember, it doesn't start till 4.
Yeah, I know there's a guy that has a national presence that is known for pizza, but I might need to do Wawa does some stuff with us. We should do like a sampling of the Wawa pizza on the air. I might do a Wawa pizza cheat day Friday this week. Instead of going to my local corner pizzeria, I might do the Wawa one.
You should.
Yeah.
I love Wawa.
I'll take more than one bite, though.
But I think, what would you rather have, Wawa pizza or Rich Cioli's brick oven pizza, which we've never had before?
Let's see. Do I want to tick off Rich or an advertiser? I'll get back to you, Don.
Who does it better? So the NBC 10 first alert forecast, 63 degrees right now. We're headed for, it's kind of another, gloomy Monday, drizzly. 65 degrees is the high. However, we reach that high early this afternoon, and then the wind picks up. So cool, raw, cloudy, and that trend really continues through tomorrow for your Tuesday. The high tomorrow, just 63 degrees with a low in the lower 50s. So Wednesday and Thursday, finally the sun comes out, okay? So we're 67 with partly sunny skies Wednesday. Thursday, 68 degrees, partly sunny skies. We do have a little bit of rain returning, looks like Friday, but looking at the long-range forecast, at least next weekend, cross your fingers that it stays sunny in the low 70s. So that looks absolutely lovely. This is Kayal and Company News Live.
All right, Dawn, thank you very much. 855-839-1210. We'll get to Kelsey and Swift in a moment, but let's get to Tom and Percy. He's got some thoughts on Mr. Menendez. Tom, good morning. How are you, sir?
Good morning. Happy Voice Monday.
Yes.
Go Birds.
Go Birds.
Hey, want to make a comment. Menendez, did you hear him earlier talking about how they're going after a Latin American? I just thought it was really hysterical and insulting.
Are they making it the race card? Are they trying to say that this is...
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, and then earlier I heard he's having a press conference, and I think he's going to announce that he's running for office again.
Yeah, that's today. I believe we mentioned earlier in the show this morning that he's going to have that press conference, that he's not stepping aside.
Yeah, and more importantly, I got two things for Dawn's T-shirt.
Oh, yes, T-shirt suggestions. Yes, go ahead.
One of them is On Your Point, and the other one is I Have Boys.
The Dawn Show. I have boys. I love that.
Yeah, that's actually really good.
That is so simple and on brand.
Dawn Show. It's for the boys.
It's for the boys.
For the boys.
We do it for the boys.
Yeah. That's good.
Oh, wow. All right, Tom. Appreciate the call. 855-839-1210. So yesterday, Sundays are big NFL days for many people. Even when the Eagles are off, maybe you got fantasy implications, or you threw a wager down according to what Stocker told you to do or what Dawn told you to do with BetParks or FanDuel. And I didn't get a chance to watch any of the 1 o'clock games. I was wrapping up my daddy-daughter weekend. So I got back home, and it was probably at 4:30, 4:45, and I started watching the Red Zone channel. And I see all the hysteria and all the hoopla over Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift. And for those that don't know, they are apparently a couple, an item, acquaintances, whatever you want to call it.
Well, he extended, because we played the clip on Friday or Thursday, he extended the invite to her to come to Arrowhead Stadium and watch from his box.
She has claimed that I guess she performed at Arrowhead Stadium, and then Travis is like, well, why don't you come here for a football game, and we'll show you how loud it really can get. And, of course, she was up in the suite in the box. And I want to just start with the Travis Kelce aspect of this, because this is kind of where some of the political stuff comes into play with an NFL player. So there's a new ad out where Travis Kelce is the pitchman for Pfizer with not only their new COVID booster, but their flu shot. And the whole commercial is you can do two things at once. And I don't know if that's a play off of obviously the two shots, the fact that he's got 2 Super Bowl trophies, the fact that he's still a great tight end, and he's still hanging out with Taylor Swift. You can do 2 things at once in this lifetime. So let's play you this ad, and I believe we've got the video to go with it. So if you're on YouTube, you'll see the actual video commercial. And if you're listening, well, you'll just hear the audio. Here's Travis Kelce channeling his new Big Pharma ad for Pfizer with the COVID booster and the flu shot.
Travis, did you know you can get this season's COVID-19 shot when you get your flu shot?
Oh, 2 things at once.
2 things at once! 2 things at once!
I'll have 2 things at once, please.
Now back to 2 things at once.
2 things at once.
That's not 2 things at once.
Mom!
Travis, ask about getting this season's COVID-19 shot when getting your flu shot.
All right, there you have it. Tony Fauci smiling from ear to ear this morning. Get your booster. Look at even Travis does it. So we've got that going on here.
Look, let me just say this: as we run ads on this radio station for Pfizer. So I'm a pro capitalist. Anybody who wants to spend money,
sure.
We'll take it.
I might not agree with the message, but if it's about dollars and cents, I get it.
But he's the pitchman for this.
He is.
It would be like, you know what? This vaccine, I don't know, blah 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 blah. Here, Nick Kayal for Pfizer. Here, you know what I mean? Like, I would never. Well, first of all, you would never do that. But I would never have you do something like that. So,
right.
Yeah.
We could, their next commercial should be?
What?
You could do Taylor and Travis playing doctor, but he could be the nurse and she could be the doctor. What do you think?
I like that idea. But now, and I forgot about this, Travis Kelce has also been a pitchman for Bud Light as recent as this past spring and summer. So you've got Travis Kelce here, Mr. Bud Light in the Bud Light demise era post Dylan Mulvaney. You've got Travis Kelce pitching Pfizer and flu shots. He's dating Taylor Swift. That is the trifecta of wokeness and left-wing ideology for Mr. Travis Kelce.
It is.
It really is.
And what did we report on Friday, among other things, that Jason Kelce, definitely the better brother. Remember, he just sponsored new canine officer Winnie from Haverford Police Department.
Yes,
that's correct.
That's true.
Okay.
That's correct.
And also, he raises a ton of money for autism and donates his time.
Yeah.
So, Jason Kelce, I don't care about the other one.
I mean, at this point, Travis
Jason's
Kelce, he might as well play his next football game next week with the Ukrainian flag on his cleats. He might as well go on Instagram and have a panic attack about climate change and do everything else that kind of checks off the boxes.
Such a good point.
Travis Kelce, who knew?
Such a good point.
And they showed him yesterday walking out of the stadium in the tunnel with Taylor Swift, and and he's all dressed up like a big celebrity. A lot of these pro athletes love to look like they're fashion icons when they leave a game or they enter a game. And there's this side-by-side picture of Travis Kelce just looking over because he knows all the cameras are on him. Do you think Travis Kelce believes anything he's pitching, or is he just trying to make an extra buck?
Oh, he's just trying to make an extra buck.
That's what I believe as well.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But, like, now you've gone down that road, so it's like, okay, there's probably no coming back.
It's funny to me because one brother appears to me, being Jason, like anti-woke.
Yes.
And one brother is like the poster child for woke.
That's correct. And I believe both of them are from the state of Ohio, which is very interesting because they played college football in the state of Ohio. I think they played for Cincinnati. So wanted to get that. And then also the Taylor Swift thing. I know we mentioned this a few times this morning. Enough is enough. It plastered all over the shows. She was in Jerry's box. We'll play you this piece of audio, and there's video to go along with it. This was the Fox NFL pregame studio guys just gushing over the fact that Taylor Swift was sitting in the luxury suite to see her man Travis.
In the box. She is there. Whatever that means.
Oh, God.
She will see what we hope is a fantastic contest. Most of you will get that. Others will catch the Dallas Cowboys.
All right, so they showed her there, and you saw that, and then they went out to the game. So you had Chris Christie in the box in Dallas for Jerry Jones, and Taylor hanging out with Travis in Kansas City.
Daniel, can you put up the front page of the New York Post as well? Because if you're watching right now on YouTube, youtube.com/@1210WPHT, the look that they captured on the front page of the Post of her is amazing. It's just like this, oh, my God, oh, it's Travis.
Yes.
Oh.
Can we pull that? I need that.
Oh my gosh,
No,
please. That was awesome. Wait, this is a new bit. Have Greg Stocker. We're going to put you in a long blonde wig.
There it is. I mean, look, she is just
hail to the chief.
She is just giddy over. Oh God.
Yep.
She's how old is she?
She's 33.
Like you're not a teenager anymore, sweetheart. Like
Right.
enough.
Right. This is in 2008 again when you're breaking into the business and.
Why do you dislike her so much?
Because she's all right, Daniel. While we're at it, can you put up the picture that I sent last night of her in the Eagles sweatshirt? That's why because she's a Fairweather fan.
She's not a Fairweather fan.
She comes to Lincoln Financial Field. She sings "Fly Eagles Fly," has the whole crowd going, and now she's in the box wearing a Chiefs jersey.
She's a lot like Joe Biden.
Yeah.
She plays to whatever crowd she's in front of.
Yeah, exactly. Whatever crowd she's in front of. Like this whole deal with her wearing the Eagles thing is just just annoys me.
Is it? I mean, I think she's still an Eagles fan, but I also think she's cheering on her new man. And then when they break up, then she'll hate the Chiefs.
Good, because I hate them too.
But I don't hate them, but I'm just saying. Like, I just think how many boyfriends and relationships has she gone through?
A lot, and they all do, right?
Not like, I mean, she's had some famous ones.
Honestly, if you're a celebrity, it's where I'll defend Taylor Swift or any celebrity as a male. If you're of that status and that stature, why would you get married? Because you're only going to get divorced and have to give half of it away anyway. It's a sound strategy.
Because I think she wants to get married and have. I think she wants to. I think like she's looking for somebody to end up with.
Okay.
Do you?
She probably is.
I do.
33, you know.
Yeah.
One more while we're on the Taylor Swift thing. I wanted to play this. Daniel, this is cut 16 here. This is #1 Taylor Swift fan, Kelly Keegs, I guess from Barstool. She doesn't get the whole Travis Kelce hype.
Okay.
This is cut 16, Daniel.
I've seen the videos. I've seen the clips. Okay. I'm just trying to catch up. I never in a million years did I think that I would have to take time out of my Sunday to watch the Chiefs play. I chose them today to win because I thought, okay, like if we're still doing this, we're still doing this. I cannot believe that Taylor is at this game. And I'll be honest, I mean, what am I going to say? She's at the game. She loved all that corny. He's so gross. I have no interest in him. She's with Donna Kelsey. Everything about this I hate, but she seems to love it. I don't know. She seems to love it. She's having a good time. What a betrayal for the Eagles, by the way.
Yeah.
She's an Eagles fan. She's singing about she sings about Eagles t-shirts in her songs.
Yep.
But she's doing this, and I'm not on Taylor right now. I'm just saying that I think she's a little struck. Okay, maybe Travis is like that because you don't betray your team and then get in a Chiefs jersey and jump up and down in a booth with his mom if his good. So he must, despite how vile and so embarrassingly lame he seems, he must have that game. So good for her.
Yep.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. You can watch the unedited video on Barstool.
Coming up next, though, we will get to Fetterman. But before we do, on a political front with Taylor Swift, this is a major story because she has snagged 35,000 new registered voters. If you don't think her political influence matters, you're not paying attention, and you should. We'll get to that story as we continue. Kayal and Company live here on a Monday morning on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Don't miss a special edition of Good News in Real Estate with Deanne Katsaris and Mark Cumberland this Saturday night at 7. Find out everything you need to know about home buying and selling. Considering a career in real estate? Visit PhiladelphiaRealEstateClasses.com and listen to Good News in Real Estate this Saturday night at 7.
My name is Janice Shikonik, and I'm from Collegeville, Pennsylvania. When I first started working, I had just turned 17 years old. And of course, when you're 17, you don't think much about your future. But then when you get closer to retirement, you have to really be careful because there's a lot of scam systems out there and people that aren't going to think twice about taking your money. And if the stock market goes down, they're like, oh, well, sorry, everybody has to take a risk. And that's why crash proof is so important. You're not taking a risk. You're putting your money in there and you're guaranteed that your money's going to be there when you need it. And it just keeps compounding year after year after year. All the vacations you wanted to take but you didn't have enough vacation time, I can do all of that now. And I really look forward to doing whatever I want. And that's the beauty of retirement. And I'm rocking it. I like it.
You're invited to reserve your seat at the next Crash Proof Retirement educational event at Springfield Country Club on October 24th. Registration is required. 800-722-9728 or crashproofretirement.com.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. Question for you. How many healthcare providers do you know who schedule downtime in their offices for team training? Not many. But my good friend, dentist and board-certified prosthodontist Dr. Robert Bentz does that because he wants to ensure that he and his staff are well-versed in all the latest technology, so when he invests in new state-of-the-art equipment for his patients, he can rest assured that he and his staff can maximize the performance of the new technology. One of their latest investments is the Trios 5 scanner. Talk about amazing. The Trios 5 has an incredible design which reduces the potential for patients gagging or experiencing discomfort during the impression-taking process. Plus, the process is much faster, which saves Dr. Bentz and his patients precious time. The scans are done, the plan is made, and the on-site lab gets to work. Dr. Bentz and his staff are a well-oiled machine when it comes to your comprehensive dental care. They're always working to make that experience as comfortable and as seamless as it can be. Visit them at BentzDentalGroup.com.
When your people are ready, your business is ready. Cintas makes sure they have what they need to perform their best. Whether it's freshly laundered work apparel for almost any job imaginable, fire protection systems that are tested and inspected, first aid and safety supplies, floor mats, or cleaning tools and restroom products, stocked and ready when you need them. Better work days happen together, so visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
I'm Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I learned about atrial fibrillation the hard way. My symptoms would come and go. Shortness of breath, fatigue. I kept going. Then I got so lightheaded, I couldn't. My doctor said I have AFib, so I'm about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. Other symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain can come and go, but the risk of stroke stays. If you have symptoms, tell a doctor. Visit notimetowait.com.
Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Hi, this is Dr. Brad Schaefer. As a podiatrist, I can tell you no two people's feet are alike, which is why I recommend Dr. Scholl's custom fit orthotic inserts. They're customized for your feet, so you get a unique solution your feet really need, not just a one-size-fits-all insole. They're clinically proven to provide pain relief for achy feet, knees, lower back, plantar fasciitis, and heels. Take the Dr. Scholl's custom fit orthotics assessment in Walmart today. Now in the foot care aisle.
The Crash Proof Retirement Show will air before and after Penn State football this Saturday. Tune in at 11 a.m., then again right after the game to learn how to create your own Crash Proof Retirement game plan.
I thought I was going to have to go through a hip replacement or some painful, unsuccessful surgery or be crippled the rest of my life.
Electrical engineer Dan Vogler had awful arthritic pain in his hips. Pain that not only affected him physically, but also emotionally. And it spilled over even to his relationships.
I was almost mean. If you're in pain and other people don't sympathize with it, you're lashing out at the wrong people.
But then Dan found QC Kinetics with the latest advances in regenerative medicine, non-surgical treatments with lasting relief.
I felt immediate relief. I mean, within half a day, much of the inflammation and pain was down.
And today, Dan says he's totally pain-free, living the life he wants.
At the end of the 4th treatment, I felt pretty much healed and enthused and was raving about QC Kinetics. I can recommend them highly to anyone.
Call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 215-999-3000. That's 215-999-3000. 215-999-3000.
All right, I'm planning my escape, and I want you to come with me. You know, last time WPHT travelers visited Italy, of course, they discovered northern Italy. Now we're heading to southern Italy, touring the most beautiful coastline in the entire world, the Amalfi Coast. This is something I've always wanted to do, and I've never done this. Please come away with me. Join me for 12 magical days in luxury with the #1 professionals, once again, from Conservative Tours. Yes, so I want to travel with the best tour operator in Italy, my friends at Conservative Tours, A+ rating, by the way, with the Better Business Bureau. So we'll even take the high-speed jet foil to the Isle of Capri. $52.67, and that includes your airfare, which is amazing. Luxury hotels and dining events. You'll remember years and years from now. So join me and my family. Yes, we're taking the boys, so we'll do this together. Toll-free, call 888-733-9494, or you can go to conservativetours.com. Listen to this. The Abbey of Monte Cassino. I get butterflies and I'm looking at all the pictures. I'm planning my wardrobe. I can't wait. Like, this is literally the trip of a lifetime. The Abbey of Monte Cassino, Italy's best kept secret, Puglia, medieval Caserta, Sorrento, Pompeii, and a chance to see the great sights in Rome before we head home. Wow. You got to join me next spring in Italy. I'll see you on the Isle of Capri. How does that sound? Call now, 1-888-733-9494, conservativetours.com. Tell them Dolan sent you.
Calling on Blackwood to follow 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
Blinded by the lights, wrapped up like a douche, another runner in the night.
It is Kayal and Company, 7:33. Happy Monday. Nick, Dawn, and Greg. Talk Radio 1210, WPHT. Get us on the free Odyssey app. Watch us live on YouTube. What's on the cut sheet coming up at 7:45 this morning. Also, recap of Daddy-Daughter weekend and my Sephora spending.
I can't wait to hear this.
My God. Oh, all right. Before I lose my mind over that, how about this? This really matters because, you know, we were talking about Taylor Swift last segment and Travis Kelce But on a serious front, people need to realize that, and I think a lot of people do, but some of these big-time celebrities really do have an impact on voting and political ideology and registration, and they can be impactful. And Axios has a very interesting story from Saturday that says Taylor Swift snags 35,000 new registered voters. This is according to Axios. A Taylor Swift Instagram post drove record-breaking web traffic to vote.org this week and helped the site register more than 35,000 new voters. Why it matters? Well, it's another example of the pop star's outsized influence on American life, first boosting the economy and now the voter base. Quote, our site was averaging 13,000 users every 30 minutes, a number that Taylor Swift would be proud of, says Andrea Haley, CEO of Vote.org, saying in a statement, 13 is also Swift's apparently famous lucky number. By the numbers, they said 35,252 people newly registered to vote last Tuesday, which was a 23% jump from last year's National Voter Registration Day, and it was the largest since the 2020 general election year, according to Vote.org. There was a 115% increase in the 18-year-olds registering compared to last year. 157,041 eligible voters visited the site. Between the lines, Swift and her push comes as the nonpartisan nonprofit launches a campaign to register 8 million voters before Election Day next year in 2024, and they aim to target young people via efforts on college campuses, social media influencers, and other tactics. Translation, it's not out of the realm of possibilities that out of those 35,000 new registered voters, if you're going to say it's young people, college, social media influencers, I'm just going to go out on a limb here and say they were largely a Democratic type thing.
Do you think?
Do you think? So that point being, Taylor Swift is creating new Democratic voter. That's literally a thing here that I think people need to be aware of. And this actually goes back to what we were talking about last week in A Big Take when I talked about how Vivek Ramaswamy met with Jake Paul and Logan Paul about how TikTok needs to be utilized more efficiently for Republicans. Because this is what's going on here. The Taylor Swifts of the world, Joe Biden and his administration, they have these young social media influencers that are on Instagram, they're on TikTok, and they're reaching these 18, 20, 22-year-old young adults, which are really still kids at that point. And that's why the Dems are doing so well with Gen Z. They're putting in a concerted effort. Now, I know there are certainly plenty of conservatives and Republicans in music, in Hollywood, whether they publicly acknowledge they are or they keep that on the down low for their bottom line is another discussion. But this is where if there are conservative celebrities out there that have put that out there and just don't give a you-know-what, like the Kid Rocks of the world and things like that, this is where I think Republicans need to get these people to start doing these things on social media to kind of punch back and counterpunch the Taylor Swifts of the world, the Beyoncés of the world, or anybody else that's out there driving a nonpartisan message when we certainly know they skew left. So I think that's a very interesting story. 35,000 new registered voters, and it's a huge increase from just 3 years ago. So keep that in mind. And then, all right, I'll just get it out of the way now that Taylor Swift's got my blood boiling a little bit. We did the daddy-daughter thing this weekend. By the way, I came up 10 out of 10. I nailed every category, every department. And Dawn, I was throwing a lot of challenges this weekend.
Yeah?
Yes.
What happened?
So Friday, pick them up. We come back down. I told you we had the Sephora shopping day, right? So before that, my apartment complex was having resident week, resident appreciation week, which we'll get to the spa day on Saturday. But the first debacle was they were having a dog costume contest for Halloween where residents brought their dogs down into the conference area and other residents could judge the dogs. So we get down there. It starts at 4 o'clock. I just get back from the airport. It's about 3:30. And I say to one of the ladies that works up front, I said, what do you guys typically have, 10, 12 dogs that come down? She goes, yeah, 10, 12, 15. The apartment's been open for over 3 years. She's like, yeah, we usually get a pretty good turnout. So, of course, I've got my daughters there. They're excited. They're ready. And 2 dogs showed up.
Oh,
that was the first
only
thing.
2.
I was like, girls, this is beyond my control. We had one dog that was dressed in a Bryce Harper jersey and another dog that was in a reindeer Santa Claus outfit. And we voted for the reindeer Santa Claus dog. So that was number one. Then we get to Sephora, which, as we know, is a new thing. At least I realized it's a thing that's been out there. As you saw on the clip this past weekend that was posted on 1210 WPHT's Twitter. So I go in there, and I was expecting to, get out of there for $70, $80. Let's just say I almost doubled that on what my girls wanted. Because, there's a little section in Sephora, Dawn, where there's like the $20 and under section. So I'm like, hey, you could probably get like 4 or 5 things that are under $20. Or if you want to spend, $68 on the one thing, that's the one thing you're getting only. So we were in there for about an hour, and I walked out, and I felt like just cutting my credit card in half and throwing it in the garbage. But I came up aces, so they were happy. And then Saturday, with the bad weather, supposed to be spa day at my apartment. Mary Kay Cosmetics is supposed to come in from 10 to 11:30, and all residents can have a complimentary spa day. Well, I'll be damned if I don't get down there at 9:52 with my girls, and the front desk lady says, hey, I hate to break the news to you, but the Mary Kay Cosmetics lady had to cancel due to inclement weather.
Boo.
I'm like, wait a minute. It's raining out and the event's inside. What do you mean inclement weather? So then on the fly, had to find a place. Now, keep in mind that spa day was going to be free. Had to find a place to take my girls for a spa day. So I took them for pedicures and manicures for 2 hours. I sat in a chair for 2 hours while they got pampered, and my credit card once again gets cut in half.
See, I told you.
That was the day.
You could have gone to GPCC, which is the Greater Plymouth Community Center.
Yeah.
They have all kinds of events, and I think it's like $10 because you're a resident of Montgomery County.
Correct.
So for like, I don't know, $20, just go on the swims. It's all indoor. Yep. A lot to do, a lot of activities.
Yep.
Could have just saved a lot of money.
So I'm getting hit with more challenges beyond challenges. Like, they're trying to make my weekend miserable, and I immediately have the answer to everything. And then lastly, we go up to my sister's. My sister was cooking dinner in the crock pot, kind of like you.
Oh, nice.
So we went up to watch some college football Saturday afternoon, and I needed a Red Bull, so I stopped at Wawa. And my girls were like, oh, can we get a hot chocolate? It's rainy, it's dreary. I said, yeah. So we go in, and of course, you've got the fountain soda machines, all the coffee machines, and the hot chocolate machine. Guess what one machine had a big out-of-order sign on it?
No.
That's correct. I just looked up. I'm like, you're really pushing my buttons today. Huh? I almost heard God laughing at me.
I gotta throw a flag here for a
That's
second.
fine.
What?
I'm just curious. Is 9 a little young for this type of stuff?
The petties and the manis?
Yeah.
I mean, you know me. I think 9's too young for them to have iPhones.
Well, I mean,
I don't want them on TikTok.
I mean, you're the father. You could say, no, we're not doing it, right?
Yeah. I just, there's battles you got to fight as a man. And I've lost a couple of these battles.
Dawn, is it wrong of me to say that 9 might be a little too young to do these things? I'm not.
Sephora, pedicure, manicure. I know. I agree. This is like 12 or 13, right?
Yeah.
That should be the starting age?
To me, I think
spoiled brats.
I think just plan other things that are around activities.
Yeah.
Like other activities rather than beauty, because you could say, I just want you to know you're always beautiful to me. You don't need to put paint on. That's what my dad. Well, I'm just quoting my dad.
Yes, but they're dancers.
I just threw up in my mouth a little bit.
Yeah. Actually, you know what, girls? No Sephora. Why don't we pull out the coloring books today?
Well, no, just there are a lot of things you could. I don't know. Just go to it. Like, it was hard because it was rainy, but I was trying to think of. There are a lot of indoor rock climbing and stuff to do like that.
Yeah.
It's funny because as a newly parent of a 3-year-old, I have said many things that I would never do.
Your days are coming fast.
That I'm doing right now. So I'm not one to throw any shade at any parent for what they decide. I'm just saying that to me, and I have a boy, I'm just saying, to me, 9 seems to be a little young for like the whole makeover thing.
Oh yeah. They got these skincare things for their face. They put this mask type stuff. The only mask that I want my kids wearing, they actually put like a mask on when they go to bed for their, the exfoliation of their pores.
What?
Oh yeah.
They're 9. They have great skin.
I know. But what am I going to do? I've got glamour daughters that dance and they spend their time looking at YouTube and Instagram.
Oh boy.
You think Taylor Swift is an issue? Wait till my daughters get to that age. It'll be a disaster.
But that's what I'm saying. Try to push them maybe in a different direction. Like
I wanted to push them.
Golf, like there are a lot of golf ranges. Or
I know.
even do like an indoor golf activity thing.
But you know what? Golf is expensive. I think Sephora might be actually more financially doable than golf. They don't give you any breaks in golf. Way too expensive. So that's the weekend that was.
Sid on the YouTube chat says, should have gone to Willow Grove by United Tire. They have a trampoline center there.
Oh. Well, we've got a trampoline in my yard in Tennessee, too. They jump around.
But no, those trampoline parks are a lot of fun. That's a good idea.
Yeah, we've done that for sure. That tires them out. You do that for 2 hours, then they're exhausted.
Secret Squirrel says 9 is the new 14.
It is.
I guess so.
It is. Even Bidenomics is affecting girls' ages now. 9's the new 14. So, well, there you go. The weekend in the books for all of those that were inquiring after.
Did they have fun, though?
Oh,
yeah. That's all that matters.
They had fun. I had fun. It was a 10 out of 10 weekend.
Good.
I was faced with daunting challenges, had all the solutions, unlike the Biden administration, and I'm even further down the hole financially. So it was all worth it. All right, 7:45 right on the dot on a Monday. Let's get to another What's on the Cut Sheet.
What's on the cut sheet?
What's on the cut sheet on this Monday? Wow. Threw my voice out by saying that. Sorry about that.
I know. That's what you get for imitating Taylor Swift last hour.
I know.
Which was awesome.
I know.
Thank you. You brought this up on Friday, Nick. I think you brought this up. Joe Biden was at the Congressional Hispanic Caucus. And he referred to them as the Congressional Black Caucus.
Right. Big difference there.
So this is what happened, I guess, late last week. It's anybody else, and we're going to play another clip too. Anybody else would have been wall-to-wall coverage today. It would have been that and Taylor Swift.
Yep.
Here's Joe Biden at the Congressional Hispanic Caucus over, I guess, late last week. This is cut 1.
And I mean this sincerely. My dad used to say, everyone is entitled to be treated with dignity and respect. The Congressional Black Caucus embodies all those values.
Yeah, and the Hispanic Caucus, too. Black, Hispanic, what's the difference?
Italian, Asian, Latino.
You're all not white. It doesn't matter.
That's
I don't
right.
know. It's just
yeah, everybody's welcome at my table.
So this was him at the Hispanic Caucus.
Okay.
On Saturday. He was introducing. No, I'm sorry. This is him at the Black Caucus on Saturday. I'm more confused than Joe Biden.
That's what Joe
now.
does. Joe's so confusing, he confuses us.
So he was talking about LL Cool J.
LL Cool J.
I don't know why,
Okay.
but he was. He butchered his name and referred to him as Boy.
Oh.
Yeah, cut 2.
And two of the great artists of our time representing the groundbreaking legacy of hip-hop in America, LL Cool J. By the way, that man's got biceps bigger than my thighs. I think he's been.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
And
He did
MC
try to
Light.
correct
He
Both
did.
of you, thank you.
Yeah.
And MC Light.
Because they both have the light off on the mic, you're all here to listen to the new edition. Mike Bibbins, 40 years producing music that lifts our soul.
Just so uncomfortable talking about these things.
Dude, this is why he's not allowed to go off script. Because he's just LLJ Cool
Yep.
instead of LL Cool J.
Yeah.
And then he says boy, autocorrects to man. Yeah, now let's just point this out. If Donald Trump would have referred to LL Cool J as boy, how do you think the mainstream media would be talking about that today?
But he never would.
I know. Joy Reid's head would explode. Her whole opening monologue would have been on the history of racism. and the oppression of individuals. But Joe does it, and he's just, you'll probably hear about it here and nowhere else.
As you know, the president has a history of referring to African Americans as boy, a term considered a racial epithet when used to describe black men. Earlier this year, Biden used the word while referring to Maryland's first black governor, Wes Moore. The president has frequently used boy to refer to younger politicians, though he took flack while on the campaign trail for using the term to describe his ability to work with segregationist senators.
Yes.
Senator Cory Booker, then competing with Biden for the Democratic presidential nomination, rebuked him in a statement saying, "You don't joke about calling black men boys."
There you go. Well, I think it was part of the ABC Washington Post poll. Joe Biden's support amongst minorities has gone from 73% to 50%. He's lost 23%.
Funny you bring that up. I'm going to go, all of this as a backdrop of these polls that were the big topic of conversation on at least two of the Sunday morning shows. Let's start with Meet the Press. This is an NBC poll that says that what you just said, Nick, Biden approval among black, Latino independent voters down double digits since taking office. This is cut 3.
This, as our new poll shows, the president's approval among black voters is down 17 points since the first year of his presidency. Mr. Biden is also down by double digits among Latinos, voters without a college degree, and independents. And as we mentioned, 59% of Democratic primary voters tell us they want to see a challenger to President Biden.
All right, so week number 2 of Kristen Welker on that show in place of Tuck Chod.
As I said.
Chuck Todd. Tuck Chod.
Oh, I thought you were making fun of me.
That was a true slip-up by me. But good. So, we talk about the Latino community, which is very interesting because there are a lot of people that have certainly moved from other countries of Latino background. They've come to the United States, whether it's Florida or Miami specifically. You saw how well DeSantis did in 2022 in his bid for re-election, crushing it with the Latino base. And I think one reason for that is Latino people love capitalism. And the Republican Party embraces capitalism far more than the Democrats do. So that's one. And then two, I think you're seeing a lot of people in the African-American community that are sitting there and saying, you know what, Joe Biden promised us this, and Kamala Harris is supposed to represent that. And at the end of the day, all they do is keep selling you on it, but they don't do anything for you. They don't deliver for that segment of the population. I think that's why that number is where it is, and it's trending in the wrong direction.
They went further with this NBC poll. They brought out Steve Kornacki to break down the specifics in a lot of these polls.
After he had 2 monsters.
How about the enthusiasm for the 2024 election? How do Republicans and Democrats stack up? This is cut 4. Hang on. Cut 4 starting now.
There's also this. We found an enthusiasm gap between the two parties. We asked folks on a scale of 1 to 10, how enthusiastic are you about the presidential election? And you can see Republican to Democrat, there is a gap right there. Where's the lag for Democrats? We found a couple places. Non-white voters, you can see significantly less enthusiastic than white voters. And then how about this age gap? The youngest group of voters who Democrats have been trying to get excited and motivated, a nearly 50-point gap there.
So really an uphill battle to try to make sure voters don't stay home if you're Democrats.
It's interesting, and I'm going to go back to what I referenced in the show last week. We see the interest and the desire to get out there and vote in polls, and the enthusiasm is at unbelievably low lows, yet you just go back and look at some of these elections that we've had recently. We've had record number turnout. So it's almost like once again, take polls with a grain of salt. Mm-hmm. Whether Trump leads by 10 or whether people are not interested in voting, what these polls show and what happens on, quote, game day are completely different things.
Agreed. It is interesting because from this enthusiasm, I think was the most, that's why I played this one first, because I think it is the most interesting because Republicans are way more enthusiastic to vote for Trump than Democrats are to vote for Biden.
That's correct.
So I think that matters. I think it matters a lot. Now, will ultimately they come out on Election Day, to your point?
Right.
If they think abortion is going to be taken away. And there's that article in Politico that the
yeah.
Democrats are running on abortion like it's 2022 all over again.
And they're going into red states with that message as well.
They are.
They're not just playing to the base that they already have in their back pocket.
Yeah. What about his disapproval rating? How does that stack up? This is cut 5.
There's just this simple question of job approval. Barely 40% approve of Joe Biden's performance.
And we have to note 56%. That's the highest disapproval rating for President Biden since he took office. That's significant.
Yeah, so let's take a look at what's driving that too here. In one big area, no surprise, it is the economy. Look at this contrast. This is April of 21, months after Biden took office. Nearly half the country was satisfied with where the economy was then. Now, barely 1 in 4 Americans satisfied with the economy.
You know, you look at it, no matter which way you slice it or dice it, Joe is struggling. He's losing the minority vote. Most people disapprove of the economy. The border is certainly an issue. His age, his cognitive decline. Every category where you sit there and say, okay, which way is the arrow pointing? The arrow's pointing down in every single department for Joe right now. And economy should be number one, and it appears that it is.
Let's go to the other Sunday morning show, ABC This Week. You referenced the ABC Washington Post poll. That was, again, bad news for Joe Biden. And again, I'm bringing these up because these are two mainstream media polls that both Sunday shows led with yesterday. Yep. So I do think it is significant, even though I'm taking polls, especially at this early in the race, with a grain of salt. How are people liking Bidenomics? This is the ABC This Week poll. Cut 6, Daniel.
When you dive into the big questions around the economy, we know President Biden has been out there trying to make the case. Unemployment is low. He's been talking about how inflation has been easing, but people aren't buying it. You covered some of the reasons why. Gas prices, food prices, grocery prices, and the like. Right now, on the big picture on the economy, 74% of the country, that's about 3/4 of Americans, who say the economy is either not so good or downright poor.
Wow.
So somehow 26% are okay with the economy.
25% good or excellent if you're watching right now
Remarkable.
on the YouTube channel.
It is unbelievable. And you think back to some of the numbers. I'm going to give you these again when we talk about Bidenomics. This was from Senator Marsha Blackburn, Republican from Tennessee. Gas is up 64.55%. Energy is up 43.38%. Groceries are up 20.47%. This is the reality of Bidenomics.
Allie on the YouTube chat writes, there's no enthusiasm to vote for Biden, only enthusiasm to vote against Trump. Is it enough? We'll see. I would argue that was the whole narrative for 2020.
Yes.
It was not people love Joe Biden.
Yes.
They were voting against Donald Trump.
So that's a terrible way to go about it in the first place. But to double down again in 2024 and say, you know what? Yeah, my grocery bills are higher. Yeah, my gas is higher. Yeah, my energy costs are higher. But damn it, I hate Trump. I'm voting Biden again. It's almost like they're willing to punish themselves in order to avoid him. Yeah. Which, that's the scary part.
It is.
Like, yeah, things are tough, kids, but I'm going to vote for the same guy I did. It's going to be another tough couple of 4 years for you, but hang in there, and then we'll be the orange man will be gone.
Same ABC Washington Post poll. How do Americans feel financially since Joe Biden took office? This is cut 7.
These numbers are simply staggering for the sitting president. 44% of people in this poll say they are not as well off as they were at the start of the Biden administration 2.5 years ago. Those are the worst numbers that we've seen in our ABC News Washington Post polling. It's a question we've been asking going back to the Reagan administration.
You know what's frustrating is when you think about Americans living paycheck to paycheck. Did you see the number that the United States is actually spending with Ukraine, not in military aid, but in other categories such as farming and other agricultural areas? The amount of money that we're just giving to that nation while everybody here in this country, for the most part, except for the elites, are struggling is just eye-popping. And it really reiterates the concept of, with Joe Biden, America last. I don't know who exactly he's helping out in the United States. It damn sure isn't me.
Paul on the YouTube chat writes, they were really pushing the Biden commercials on Channel 10 yesterday morning.
Were they?
I guess the NBC.
Okay. Not surprised.
Well, look, I mean, it's smart on the Biden front to run commercials now. You know what I mean? Like, especially in this area.
Yeah. Which further tells me he's not dropping out of the race. Look, they're going to drag him to the finish line.
This is unbelievable. Yeah, Dawn just took the words right out of my mouth. It's unbelievable. Renee writes, Biden actually had a commercial on a Sunday show saying that he made the U.S. energy independent. Sylvia writes, my rich idiot in-laws will all still vote for Biden.
No, that post did not come from me. But I have experienced that.
What do Americans feel? This is from the same ABC News poll. What do Americans view on gas, energy prices, all of that stuff under the Biden administration? This is cut 8.
Nearly as many upset about gas and energy prices after a brutally hot summer. The national average for a gallon of unleaded gasoline this week hitting $3.88 per gallon, according to AAA, the highest level in nearly a year.
We just drove through California yesterday. Gas was $6.39 a gallon.
That's ridiculous, in my opinion.
People can't afford rent.
Wow.
I cringe because I get my gas always from my local Wawa because it's just right by my house. And it's been sitting at $3.95, and then this past weekend it was $3.99. It's a penny away from. If it gets to $4, I might vomit. But I can't imagine what it's like living in California, paying $6.39 for a gallon of gas.
Broadcasting live on YouTube. If you have not done so yet, please hit the like button. We're sitting here at 62 likes, so please hit the like button. I want to get to 100 likes. Also, if you have not done so, please hit the subscribe button. I think we're about 40 some odd away from 4,600. So if you have not done so, please hit the subscribe button. I want to get those subscriber numbers up. I haven't really made a pitch for them in the last couple of days, but I want to get those numbers up. So try and help us get to 4,600 subscribers. One more from the ABC News poll. And it's all about the economy, which I think is interesting where people's heads are at on how they think the Biden administration is doing in the economy. His approval rating, I guess you would say, cut 9.
Americans overwhelmingly say they are not feeling good about the economy and that the president is to blame. Just 30% approve of his performance on the economy, a career low, largely dragged down by pocketbook issues for families, like food prices that have risen 4.3% since last year. Our poll showing more than 9 in 10 Americans rating them negatively. Voters across the country telling ABC News they are frustrated.
Costs a lot more to buy a loaf of bread these days.
We're all trying to survive. We can't even work 2 jobs at this point and try to make it.
I don't think that anybody is really paying attention to the working man.
You know, just on the economy and the cost of food front, a couple of perfect examples to really illustrate these issues. So yesterday, we got up and I took the girls with me to go grocery shopping. And we went to Giant, and I got out of there, and again, it was just me for the week. Now, I did have to do some of the toiletry expenditures, so that week is always a little more expensive. $171 for little old Nick sitting in his apartment in Bluebell. And my sister, when we were up on Saturday, told me a story of how they were a couple of days earlier, I think it was like a Wednesday or a Thursday, they were going to order from their local pizza spot. And they wanted to get a meat lover's pizza, an order of barbecue wings, and a panini sandwich that my sister wanted because she wasn't feeling pizza. Her husband and son wanted pizza. And those 3 items, 10 barbecue wings, a panini, and a meat lover's pizza. And the guy on the other end of the phone said it was $87.
Wow.
$87 for a pizza with all the fixings, wings and a panini, and a delivery charge. That's pre-tip. Who's going to spend $87 for that? You're better off just going out and getting a ribeye and a baked potato. I was like, I was like, did you order it? She goes, no.
Yeah. All of this looming government shutdown over the spending, I guess. Representative Matt Gaetz went on with Maria Bartiromo on Sunday, going scorched earth on House Speaker Kevin McCarthy. and questioned what wins the House Republicans have actually racked up since January when they have been in the majority. This is Sunday Morning Futures with Maria Bartiromo. This was a very interesting conversation between the two of them. Cut 13.
Now joining us, one of the people holding up an agreement to fund the government, Florida Republican Congressman Matt Gaetz. Congressman, thank you very much for being here this morning.
Oh, thank you. I'm glad I get to respond to your monologue, because if you're saying that I'm standing in the way of all the Republican wins, I'd love you to enumerate them. Watching my friend and mentor Jim Jordan, it was quite painful, because he started by saying we should only pick one fight, the border. But then as the interview went on, he said, well, we should pick a second fight, Jack Smith. And by the time the interview rounded out, he was saying that we shouldn't be funding Ukraine without a plan. And yet the very continuing resolution that you and Jim Jordan seem to be for continues to have $300 million more for Ukraine. So I think we ought to fight on all fronts. I think the border is very important. And the best way for us to advance the Republican border policies is to pass the Department of Homeland Security Appropriations Bill, do that along with veterans, defense, ag, state and foreign ops. We'll have 73% of the discretionary budget funded. And if, the Department of Labor and Education have to shut down for a few days as we get their appropriations in line, that's certainly not something that is optimal, but I think it's better than continuing on the current path we are to America's financial ruin.
Congressman, I understand, and that is why you are on this program this morning, because I want to give you a fair shot, and I want to get you heard. So tell me why you are threatening Speaker McCarthy and trying to shut down this government at a time that the Republicans have finally gotten some upper hands here in terms of wins, able to investigate President Biden on what looks like bribery.
Yeah, we don't put our pencils down in the investigation of President Biden during a shutdown, so the premise is false. Second, if Kevin McCarthy was actually serious about pursuing the Bidens, he would have sent Hunter Biden a subpoena by now. That's how you know this is sort of failure theater that you're observing. During the first year of Democrat control of the Congress, they brought in Donald Trump Jr. 3 times over nothing. Over a nothing burger. And so we seem to be fundamentally unserious in our oversight. But what is serious is the fact that we are spending more than $7 trillion a year, bringing in around $5 trillion a year. And I want to fund the government. I'm not pro-shutdown. But the way to fund the government is not the same way we've been doing it since the mid-90s, where it's one up or down vote on the entire government all at once. We should have separate single-subject spending bills. Kevin McCarthy promised that in January. He is in breach of that promise. So I'm not here to hold the government hostage. I'm here to hold Kevin McCarthy to his word.
So a couple of things here. You know that Gaetz and McCarthy do not see eye to eye. Gaetz didn't want to give him the votes when McCarthy had to go 15 rounds back in January, as he alluded to there with the mention of January. I'll tell you what, Gaetz has been in the news a lot lately. He also apparently has aspirations to run for governor in Florida once DeSantis' term is up. And then also, Gaetz and Fetterman have been beefing, and you talk about the possibility of a governmental shutdown. Fetterman actually fired back at Gaetz this past week and said that, quote, if those jagoffs in the House stop trying to shut our government down and fully support Ukraine, then I will save democracy by wearing a suit on the Senate floor next week. So Fetterman's going to save democracy by wearing the appropriate attire in rebuttal to Matt Gaetz coming after him about saying, do your stinking job.
He somehow makes it all about him.
He does.
I think Matt Gaetz comes off, I'll just ask you this, because the so-called mainstream media calls Matt Gaetz, refers to him as the far right, the extreme right.
That's correct.
I just ask, when you just heard him, does anybody think that he sounds extreme or far right?
No.
To talk about looking at your tax dollars and evaluate line by line and go through it just like all of us do in our budgets.
No. But this has been going on since McCarthy was trying to get those votes back in January. You have Gaetz, you have Marjorie Taylor Greene, which, to your point, and perfectly characterized by you, Dawn, with the way the mainstream media portrays those few as the far right, yet then they look at others and they view like McCarthy to be, certainly less than far right. And those individuals get more of the benefit of the doubt from the mainstream media. They really try to vilify Matt Gaetz. Like they use the same brush on him as they do DeSantis, Trump, or anybody else from the state of Florida.
I said this on Friday, and for those of you that don't know, who aren't as following as closely as we are, this is all about military spending, and it's about how much aid we're sending to Ukraine. And for any true liberal anybody who they call them classic liberals, who always question military spending in the U.S., always did.
The Bill Maher's of the world.
Where are they now?
I know.
Like this should be a cause that, to Dawn's point, and I put this in quotations, the far right and the left should unite on, because it is questioning military spending, which is always our top line item when it comes to spending.
Yes. I'm glad you bring up Ukraine and the spending, too. I noticed two things, one yesterday during football and one today this morning on our YouTube chat. This morning on our YouTube chat, or YouTube channel, when Valdez posted the picture of the New York Post and had the freeze frame of was it Travis Kelce and Swift on the cover?
Yeah.
Did you notice the New York Post now has in the top right corner the Ukrainian flag?
I did not notice that.
If Valdez can post that back up there again.
I see it.
There's
I have the picture in front of me.
Yes.
Like, Daniel, if you can put it up on YouTube,
Yep.
I don't know if you can, but
the Post now carries the Ukraine flag in the top right corner.
Yep.
And I also noticed yesterday the New York Jets had the Ukrainian flag on the back of their helmets. You know, as if it wasn't enough, a couple of years ago, we had to have BLM propaganda on people's football helmets. Now we've got the Ukrainian flag on people's football helmets. There it is. Yeah, you got the United States flag in the top left,
there it
then
is.
the New York Post logo, and then on the right side, the Ukrainian flag. And if you don't agree with the fact that a Ukrainian flag has the right to be there, it's, why are you so pro-Russia? Like, I'm not pro-Russia. I'm just, what's the exit strategy here? Is it going to be like Afghanistan, Joe? Or are we just going to keep funneling money to Ukraine?
Well, I think the issue is, and always will be, when the economy and prices are so high here, why are we spending so much money over there?
Why are we spending so much money on Ukraine's sovereignty, yet totally neglecting our border? Imagine if that money was spent at the border. But then again, record numbers in August for Joe.
We're number one. We're number one. Speaking of the Senate dress code.
Oh, yeah.
Kale. Senator Dick Durbin was on State of the Union on CNN on Sunday talking about the dress code. And he thinks that we need to reach some sort of an accommodation on the Senate dress code that is realistic. I don't know what is more, like...
And why are we negotiating with accommodations on the way senators are supposed to dress?
For one guy.
I know.
I loved Senator Rand Paul tweeted out a picture of himself in a
bathrobe,
huge bright red bathrobe, sitting on the Capitol, and his hair kind of tousled, bare feet,
right,
in a red bathrobe.
Yeah, just show up with anything you want. Hooded sweatshirts, sweatpants, flip flops. You can look like Nick Kayal if you want.
Elise on the YouTube chat writes, the New York Post has had the Ukrainian flag on the banner since the war started.
Oh, did they?
I literally read it every day. I've never noticed it. I didn't notice it until you brought it up.
Yeah.
So, okay, Dick Durbin on the Senate dress code from yesterday. Cut 12, Daniel.
Something that's going on inside the Senate, which is a debate about the dress code. You say that you are concerned about the fact that your leader, Chuck Schumer, directed that the Senate no longer enforce its dress code. Can you explain why you're concerned about that?
Well, let me tell you, the good news is the conversation continues, and I believe there's going to be an agreement, I hope very, very soon, among members. It is experience in the Senate to see individual senators and their individual fashion taste. I could go through the long litany of those that I've seen in the past, but I think it's very positive that Chuck is sitting down with the senators who are interested in this issue, and I expect an agreement to be reached very soon.
Why do you think the dress code shouldn't change?
Well, I can tell you, we really don't have a dress code in the rules of the United States Senate. What we need to do is to reach an accommodation that is realistic. Some of this is more challenging than it sounds, but I think with the progress that's been made to date is very encouraging.
Okay, so they say there are technically no written rules on dress code. Yeah, so it's the unwritten rules of fashion in the Senate. It's like baseball. There's no rule that says you can't steal second base when you're up 14-1. But the unwritten rule in baseball is when the game's over and it's 14-1 in the 8th inning, you're not stealing second base. You're not trying to embarrass everybody else. That's the same thing here. And let me ask you this. If you're Schumer or Durbin or anybody that's been a lifetime swamper, and in comes the everyman Fetterman cargos and Carhartts and sweater pockets and all the schlub attire that this guy wears. Why do you think here's what I would say. You think he's going to quit? If you go to Fetterman and say, "Hey, I need you in a suit. This is not negotiable." You think he's just going to take his ball and go home? And here's the other thing too. Why do we treat this guy like he's a child? Why do we treat him like
mental health, Nick?
And
mental health.
And I don't mean any disrespect.
No.
Because like my ex-wife's sister has Down syndrome. She's got special needs. Why do we treat Fetterman like he has special needs? Would he be allowed to do this if he didn't have a stroke? If John Fetterman never had a stroke, is he still allowed to dress like a vagabond?
Well, what gets me out of all this
knows the answer
is that for what?
No. I was just responding to him. I said knows the answer. Sorry.
What gets me is for years women in Congress have said, they wanted to wear slacks or they wanted to show their, wear a sleeveless dress. Women have been given such a hard time. I don't remember any women ever getting this much coverage.
Mm-hmm.
And once again, women just get the shiv out of all of this because women for years have talked about this stuff and to no avail. The media, nobody ever talks about it. Nobody cares. This big guy comes in a freaking hoodie and everybody's all,
to your point,
losing themselves.
Like a female
over it.
could be ridiculed for showing too much cleavage or her skirt is too short. But John Fetterman can look like he just rolled out of a YMCA. I mean, come on.
Yeah, and believe me, I think everybody should be proper and respectful. So I'm not advocating for anything improper. I'm just saying it fits the narrative as, to me, Democrats, not Democrats, progressives.
Mm-hmm.
Progressives just always just walk all over women, and it's weird. It's becoming bizarre to me. It really is.
I'll answer the question as well, and I actually disagree with Greg. I think he would still be allowed to dress like this without a stroke because I think his appearance, his marketing, his brand, this is why he somehow, and I don't understand how it does, this is how he, quote, resonates with his base by looking the part.
I disagree with you. Okay. I think that if he was I shouldn't say normal. If he did not have a stroke, and I don't wish that on my worst enemy.
No, of course
honestly.
not. We've said that all along.
If he did not have a stroke and he did not have these special needs, from the effects of that stroke, there's zero chance they would let him get away with this on the Senate floor.
When he was in office in Braddock and before he got to this level, this was and pre-stroke obviously. This was part of his package, so to speak, right?
Yes.
So that's why I think it would continue because, look, he's a Harvard graduate. He lived at home. He didn't pay taxes. He doesn't connect with the everyday person. So those that don't know that, they just see the sweatshirt and the tattoos and the bald head, and they think, that's a workings man. No, he's not.
Yeah, there's dress code. There's dress codes everywhere you go. Most offices have dress codes. You know what I mean? Like it's not like you don't have to wear a shirt and a tie, but one of the things you always ask when you get hired at a new place is what's the dress code here? Mm-hmm. And it's usually, business casual or whatever, like, nice pair of pants and a button-down shirt for a guy, whatever.
Yep.
Why is it so out of the realm of possibility that the Senate might have the same thing? Or, if you show up in a hoodie and sweatpants or whatever, that's not acceptable.
I know. You're judged on a lot of different things as a politician, your message, your policy, this, that, and the other thing. He is basically talked about because of the effects post-stroke and his wardrobe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's such a stain on the state of Pennsylvania. Like this is what he's known for.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like not passing any legislation that's meaningful to anybody, or this is what he's known for. His slovenly dress.
He's a cartoon character.
And by the way, that's coming from somebody who I don't dress up that often.
Neither do I.
I enjoy being comfortable.
Yep.
But you know what? If I was a United States Senator, I would dress the part because that's the part that I dress for.
Honestly, when you come in most days, short of wearing Kayal and Company stuff or a music shirt, you have really nice business casual stuff on.
Yes.
If you showed up to the Senate dressed like you do, you would look 10 times better than Fetterman does.
Yeah, most days. Not today. I've bantered on
Yeah,
it.
it's rainy.
Sweatshirt,
It was a
but
long weekend.
It's
A little dreary out.
It's Monday. I barely wanted to get up this morning.
Barely wanted to be here.
I shouldn't even be here today. Let's talk about sexism, shall we? Since Dawn brought it up. Jen Psaki was on had Hillary Clinton on her program over the weekend, and she framed this question as Hillary Clinton fighting against more sexism in public from Putin to right-wing Republicans. I want to play her response to this, and then I want to pose a question to both of you. This is cut 17, Daniel.
Pay more attention as time goes by.
When you mentioned the ticket, I mean, you have fought against more sexism in public than anyone, probably, globally, from Vladimir Putin to right-wing Republicans, the gamut. You know, there has been more talk, at least in my time in politics, about questioning whether the vice president should be on the ticket. I know what I think that's about, but I want to know what you think that's about.
Well, I think it's about, a number of things. I think vice presidents are either never thought about or they're an afterthought. And it's a tough position to be in, no matter who you are. But I also think that she's a first. I mean, she's the first woman. She's the first woman of color. She's the first daughter of immigrants. I mean, you can go on down the list. And so there will definitely be a lot more scrutiny than is usual for a vice president who I dare say most people couldn't even name in many of the administrations going back to the beginning. So honestly, again, I think she's done a much better job than she gets credit for. I think that she has proven to be a good partner for the president. And this is a decision that belongs to the president, whoever the president is. I remember when I chose Tim Kaine to be my running mate. He had been a successful governor. He had been a successful senator. I thought, here is somebody who could literally step into the job, which to me is a very important criterion, but who also, had a great reputation as a colleague, working with people. Some people said he's not this, he's not that. But he was my choice. And so at the end of the process, it's the president's choice. And I think that he made a good choice.
So I have two questions for both of you guys. First, I want to start with her initial question, and then we can get into the Veep stuff. But my question for you is, sexism from Russia, Putin, and right-wing Republicans, I believe is how she phrased it. I'm sorry, is who rejected her in the election? Was that Democrats or was that Republicans?
I'm blown away how they can take sexism, and we'll use sexism for the sake of this conversation because she brought it up, but sometimes it's racism or sexism or some sort of group of people that have been offended and had the uphill battle, and then she ties in Putin with right-wing Republicans. So you take the emotionalness of sexism and racism, slap a right-winger and a Putin on it, and then you got the offended sandwich.
It's just, to me, the Democrats had the chance in 2016 to vote for the first woman president, and they decided not to.
They said no.
They said no.
Rejected it.
They said no. So, who's the real sexist here? I mean, the Democrat dudes and women who didn't vote for the first woman president, or is it the right wing people who had no dog in that fight? I don't know. Just asking for a friend.
I love how the Dems too. They claim to be about standing up for sexism and racism and checking off boxes. So Kamala goes into the Veep box so they could check off the box. But what are they saying? Straight white cis males are the issue with America. Oh, who's going to be running for re-election in 24? Joe Biden. Oh, Joe Kent. Who's up next? Gavin Newsom.
Yeah.
Last time I checked, 2 straight white cis guys. But if you want to play the identity politics game, who's playing it better right now? I don't think the Republicans are playing that game because I think these people have a lot of merit. But Tim Scott, Nikki Haley, Vivek Ramaswamy, for Democrats, those would be checked off boxes, would they not?
Let's talk about her talking, her saying this about vice presidents, about how the vice president is kind of a meaningless job. I mean, we know that, but boy, people love to throw some shade at Kamala, don't they?
That's good. So you've got Hillary, and who did it last week or 2 weeks ago that wouldn't answer the question that we played?
No, well, a lot of them haven't. They've CNN, to their credit, has pressed multiple. Nancy Pelosi
That's
was
what it was.
one.
Nancy was on with Anderson Cooper.
Yeah, and then Jake Tapper had somebody on, and he pressed them as well, and they wouldn't answer one way or another.
Yep.
I don't know. I just think it's interesting.
It is.
I'm going to go to cut 14 here. James Clyburn was on Meet the Press and was asked about Kamala Harris. Is she the future for the Democrats?
Oh, boy.
He starts it off by saying very nice things about her, but then ends it with, it's not a given. Cut 14.
All right, well, let's turn to Vice President Harris. Do you see her as the future of the Democratic Party?
I see her as a part of that future, absolutely.
Is she the future, though? Is she the future of the Democratic Party?
Oh, she could very well be. I think she is running a very good campaign. Her speech last night was great, and I look to her as a successor to this president. But I also know the history of that as well. It's not a given. You don't automatically move up. She'll have to compete going forward with whoever may have dreams and aspirations, and I think she will acquit herself well.
Well, I know that you're saying you don't look at the polls too much, but our poll does show her favorability is actually lower than President Biden and even than former President Trump. Why do you think she's not resonating more with voters? What do you think the issue is?
Because when you compare the first woman of color and first woman to be Vice President of the United States, and compare that to all of the history before, you will get that. I think that during this campaign, she will demonstrate, as she did in that hall last night, that she knows exactly what she's doing. She has the capacity and the capability to be President of the United States if called upon to do so.
So let me answer this first of all from a hosting standpoint. Yeah. If I was actually a host of any of these shows and my producers have said, hey, let's get this guest on, or what about some line of questioning? Is Kamala ready? Is she next in line? I would say, no, look, we're not going to. That's stupid because nobody believes that she has a functionally remote chance of actually stepping up and being the number one. We're not even going to waste our time on the show. We'll come up with a better angle for the story and the topics that matter of the day. But the thing is, this is what happens when you say, I'm going to check off boxes in the name of DEI, and I'm not going to roll out the most qualified person. I'm just going to roll out somebody that, is a female, is a African-American who will shatter glass ceilings and be a historical first. I mean, think about that. She's actually running with a lower approval rating than Joe Biden is, which is almost hard to do. Yeah. I have no idea how that's possible, but I think Americans know that she would struggle in a debate against a 10th grader in a high school. She'd probably lose.
AOC was on Face the Nation, and I don't know if you guys remember this. I didn't, but good on Margaret Brennan for bringing it up. So AOC apparently promised that her and her beau, her husband, would buy an EV, an electric vehicle, that was made at a good union shop. So a union worker making an EV.
Yeah.
Apparently she bought a Tesla, which is not made by unions, and it's against the person that she always talks about, despises, Elon Musk.
Okay.
So Margaret Brennan asked her about this, and you know what she blamed? Well,
racism.
Cut 10.
You were quoted back in July saying you look forward to buying a union-made electric vehicle, but you currently have a non-union made Tesla. UAW already makes some electric vehicles.
Yes.
So why wasn't that? Is it a problem with the quality? Is it a problem with the style? Is the market just not there?
No, our car was purchased during the pandemic when before a vaccine had come out. So travel between New York and Washington, the safest way that we had determined was an EV, but that was prior to some of the new models coming out on the market that had the range available. But we're actually looking into trading in our car now. So we're looking into it, and hopefully we will soon.
Yeah.
I couldn't get the vehicle I wanted because I had a runny nose.
COVID.
I'll
She
be
blames
damned.
COVID.
I know. So let's keep track of the AOC fraud meter. Exposed there on her EV and purchasing power and brand, because we know she despises Elon Musk. She's also the one who wanted to defund the police. And, oh, by the way, her security detail costs her on a private level $2 million. She might be the biggest fraud of them all.
Yeah.
In a party, in a profession, because there's frauds on both sides, in a profession full of frauds.
It's just funny to me that they sit here and they talk about, Elon Musk, and they bring up, DOJ investigations into Musk, and the first second they can, they're all buying Teslas. It's just so nauseating.
I got to tell you, I have no interest in that vehicle. I know Opelka is a recovering EV Tesla owner, as he says in his Twitter profile, but no interest in a Tesla.
Speaking of the UAW strike unions, that's the center of all of this. EVs are actually the center of all of this as well. Pete Buttigieg was on with Kristen Welker, Meet the Press. Boy, Kristen Welker really getting all the big guests the first 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Dawn, did you watch? How did we grade her second week performance? Did she do okay?
I think she's doing okay.
Yeah.
She's still better than Tuck Chad, as we're calling him.
Tuck Chad, yeah. So asked if Joe Biden, if the Biden administration supports the UAW's demand of a 4-day work week with 5 days of pay, because that's what the union is.
Work 4, get paid for 5. Okay.
Yeah. Well,
what do you think about that? Kayal and Company, Monday through Thursday?
Well, the 4 is, well, sure, if you want to do, I think there's like 10s. It's like three 10s and a 12 or whatever that is. So if you want to do 10 hours, sure, we can talk about.
All right.
You're not,
We'll look into it.
I know you're gassed after hour 4. So,
hour 4 is big hour. Where's on you?
All right. Does the Biden administration support this? Cut 11.
One of the other items that labor workers are asking for, more controversially, is a 4-day work week with 5 days of pay. Would the president support that? Does he think that's right?
Well, again, he supports them getting a record deal. He and the administration we're not at the table, right? We're not part of the negotiations. We're not doing the numbers. That's for the companies and the unions to do. But what the president is making clear is that he is leading an economy where people need to, as he says, where the economy needs to grow from the bottom up and the middle out, not the top down.
Yeah, there we go. The bottom up. Did you imagine doing that with your hands from the bottom up, top down? You get confused.
You do.
I've never, and this has been my stance since the pandemic. And I understand if you do 4 10-hour days, it's still 40 hours. And I've said, if you can guarantee the same productivity and happier employees, okay. But did the pandemic just create this belief of I don't want to work and I don't need to work? I don't have to work. I don't.
I don't know if it did that. I think it changed the way we work. I do think that.
I think people realize that they can, especially from an ownership standpoint, like if you can cut down on overhead and have people work from home, especially in computer-based jobs or phone call jobs or traveling sales jobs. But it just seems to me like we're always looking for a way, and it's all under this pretext of mental health. Like, I'm sorry if you have a job that you hate and it drives you insane, but that's your fault. That's your problem.
Yeah.
I don't know. Work harder in school. Find something you were passionate about. And I get it. I've been out of radio where I've had to have jobs that I despised, and I truly get the phrase of love the job that you have, and you'll never work a day in your life. I truly believe that. I'm never angry about doing radio. I've worked in other jobs where I'm like, God, this sucks. But that's on you.
Yeah.
We're going to change the whole system just because of some people don't like to work?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Old man yell at cloud. No, I'm kidding.
No, it is. It is.
It's funny to me because, you can always work at UPS. I hear they're
make $170,000 a year.
I hear they're paying decently.
Finally this morning, I don't know if you guys saw this. This happened last Wednesday, but he finally responded to it. New York Times columnist David Brooks. He's a center right columnist. Like he's not a liberal. He tweeted a photo last Wednesday of a meal at Newark
Newark Airport. It showed a burger, fries, and a glass of what appeared to be brown liquor, scotch or whatever. And the caption was, Daniel, if you could put that up on the YouTube channel. By the way, youtube.com/@1210WPHT. Please hit the like button if you're following along. If you can put the tweet up there. He wrote, this meal just cost me $78 at Newark Airport. This is why Americans think the economy is terrible. And he got roasted for this being kind of a tone-deaf tweet. There it is. Yeah. So it's that looks like scotch to me, or some sort of a burger, fries, $78 at Newark Airport. He addressed this over the weekend on PBS NewsHour. This is cut 15, Daniel.
David, before we go, I want to ask you about this tweet that you put out this week where, and we can put this up on screen, you posted this tweet that showed dinner that you were having at an airport and that it cost $78. And you wrote, this is why the American people think the economy is terrible. You got roughed up a little bit online about this, but I'm just curious more about what you were trying to convey with that.
Yeah, well, first it started out hatched in my mind as a joke, because if you looked at what I was eating, it was bourbon and a very fattening hamburger and fries. So it's
delicious dinner.
I can't afford to make bad lifestyle choices. But the problem with the tweet, which I wrote so stupidly, was that it made it seem like I was oblivious to something that is blindingly obvious, that an upper middle class journalist having a bourbon at an airport is a lot different than a family living paycheck to paycheck. And when I'm getting sticker shock, it's like an inconvenience. When they're getting sticker shock, it's a disaster. And so I was insensitive. I screwed up. I should not have written that tweet. Probably should not write any tweets.
Amen.
But
sorry.
That's advice we should all be.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
I made a mistake, and it was stupid.
Wow.
So Greg Stocker actually has some advice for our journalists.
Not everything needs to be on Twitter.
See, I didn't come off with the tone deaf of, this guy's career and salary and what he deems to be a struggle versus somebody making less. My impression was, dude, you're buying a whiskey in an airport, and you paid $78. A third of that was probably the alcohol.
Yeah, exactly.
And oh, by the way, yes, everything's more expensive in an airport, but when you go out to an airport or a restaurant or a bar, the liquor, the mixed drink is always overpriced.
Because you have a captive audience. You can't go anywhere else.
That's
so, of course,
correct.
they can charge whatever they're going to charge them.
Right. And then, on top of it, I got to criticize what looks like the maneuvering here. He took off the lettuce and the tomato off the burger. And there's 7 ketchup packets.
Can you put up...
He eats like a 5-year-old.
Can you put up that photo again?
That's a total violation. I mean, he took off all the healthy part of the burger and just went straight beef, cheese, bun, and ketchup.
I just feel like we just need to stop, and this is for the both of you too, we just need to stop documenting our entire lives and trying to dunk on people on Twitter. It's just not, it's such a lame exercise that just does nobody any good.
So you think he was trying to dunk on people with that?
I don't know. He was, I don't know how many bourbons deep he was, but you know what I mean? Like, how many ketchup packets? 3?
3. And he went crinkle cut fries.
And he took off all of the you're right, all of the lettuce and tomato. So the whole healthy part of the burger, he's like, to hell with this.
It's like a vegetable explosion on his table.
Yeah. And one more thing about this, if you're going to do this, don't apologize for doing it.
Yeah, I know.
Just freaking own it.
I know.
Like, I'm tired of
Everybody's
these
afraid of their own shadow.
I am tired of these apologies and you did it, own it, whatever, move on, or don't address it again. To go on PBS and just I should not have done that. It was so insensitive. I don't know what I was doing. It's like, shut up.
$78.
Yeah,
that's brutal. I remember when I flew up here last year for the job. I was at the airport and I was in the mood for a Bloody Mary.
Yeah,
it was $19.
Yeah, sure.
$19.
Yeah,
I could get a bottle of Tito's for that.
Somebody on the YouTube chat says, I think they said the bill was somewhere around 70% liquor. So, yeah.
So then he probably had 2. Because I can't imagine the burger and fries were more than $20.
If he had ordered a milkshake, which our milkshake costs have gone through, because my boys always want milkshakes.
Dairy's out of control right now.
Oh, my goodness. Or if he had even ordered a beer with it, I think people would not have had as much a problem.
Agreed.
And it would have been astronomical as well.
That's why the cost of pizza is so expensive.
Yeah.
It's the cheese.
Yeah. Real cheese.
The owners
Yeah.
of the pizzeria have been getting crushed on the dairy costs, and they're passing that cost on to you.
Robert Schwartz on the YouTube chat writes, coming from the guy who panders constantly for likes and subscribers. Come on, Greg. I agree. By the way, if you're watching right now, please hit the like button. I want to get to 200 likes. So, and if you have not done so, please hit the subscribe button. Look, I know I'm a shill. I own it. I don't apologize for it.
But you're not trying to dunk on anybody.
No, I'm just trying to get. And look, it benefits the radio station. It doesn't benefit me.
Right.
It benefits me none.
Right.
It benefits the radio station,
You know,
which
that's
is what I'm trying to do.
That's my answer for now on when you say, was it really necessary to post that picture of the bourbon or the beer?
Yeah.
Like, it's not
Was it?
benefiting me. It's benefiting the brand of the show. The everyman. Unlike John Fetterman, I am the everyman.
Yeah, but we pay you to benefit the everyman on this program, not on Twitter or X or whatever the hell they're calling it these days.
I might retire from social media. I've actually, I don't enjoy it anymore. I really don't. I really don't.
El Bucaliano says, "Oh my God, guys, the point was inflation everywhere." I understand what the point was. I do.
Right.
I understand the point exactly. But then don't either own the tweet or don't put it out.
Yeah.
Don't apologize for it if it's like, oh, it was very insensitive. Okay.
Well, yeah, are we really going to play the? And look, I'm living it. You're living it. Grocery store. But like, are we really going to play the inflation card over a bourbon at an airport?
Yeah.
Like, you're going to get charged an arm and a leg for that, even if inflation's 1%.
Mangle Mush says, "Go with shoestring, not crinkle." I can stand behind that tweet.
Yeah. Or waffle fry.
The waffle fries are too big.
You don't like waffle
No,
fry? Oh.
no. Dawn, shoestring or crinkle?
Steak fries.
Dawn?
Shoestring.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, that's the correct answer.
any fry is a good fry.
Fresh cut potatoes. I like to have it go right through that chute with the guy pushing it down.
Yeah.
You see the potatoes just drop into the bucket?
Yeah, when you go to a fast food joint like a Wendy's or something, and they just put the fries
Straight hot.
Yeah,
Salty
that's
and
the best.
greasy. I agree.
You should just request that. Hey, can you throw a fresh batch on there for me?
My true story, when we were little, my dad would never take us to McDonald's. We'd always go to Burger King for whatever reason. He liked the flame-broiled Whopper.
Sure.
He would want his burger and his fries. He would ask the person, which I think is a violation, like that. It's $4.99. You get what you get. He would ask how long the burgers were sitting in the chute for.
Yep.
I'd be so embarrassed. Like, I'm going to go fill up my soda.
Yeah, somebody on the YouTube chat says don't tweet while drinking. I agree with that.
No, I've been trying to fight that battle for years. You think it's bad now? You should have seen it in the sports days.
No, can you stop, please? Enough.
One time I
here we go.
I tweeted I wanted, because I was watching a college football game. I had a couple of vodkas. Alabama's kicker missed like 3 kicks. And I tweeted, I want so-and-so dead, the kicker.
Yeah,
of course, I really don't mean that.
Yeah, but
and then
you
the
can't-
sports radio boss was like, well, what's the point of this?
Yeah. Well, I would have said the same. Like, I would have been like, bro, come on, stop. I wouldn't have had you apologize for it, but
yeah. Twitter should come with like a breathalyzer. Like
That
you gotta
funny.
you gotta blow before you post, like you do in the car when you have DUI issues. All right, here we go. Let's get to it. That'll do it for What's on the Cut Sheet Part 1. Part 2 coming up around about an hour from now. Let's get to a Dawn Stenzel in Big 3 at 8.
It's the Big 3 at 8 on Kayal and Company.
In our Big 3 at 8, we are sponsored this morning by Millville Army Airfield Museum on this dreary, cloudy, rainy 65-degree day. Yes, so let's talk about it. Number 1 in our Big 3, we have new developments in the scandal and federal charges against New Jersey Senator Bob Menendez. He's expected to make his first public comments since his indictment on federal corruption allegations and charges on Friday, along with his wife. Gold bars, cash in envelopes tucked in the jacket in the closet. These are all the allegations. Menendez, though, is not expected to resign this morning, rather double down and say he plans to seek re-election in 2024. We know that over the weekend, Congressman Andy Kim announcing he plans to challenge Senator Bob Menendez, so his fellow Democrat now running for his job, and a lot of reaction. We saw Governor Phil Murphy, as well as pretty much most Democrats in New Jersey, denouncing this and asking Menendez to please step down. But in Pennsylvania, we saw United States Senator John Fetterman making a statement and also joining those Democrats in New Jersey.
Yes, and if you missed the big take this morning, it was centered around Bob Menendez. So download the Odyssey app and rewind it.
The big take.
Can Murphy do something about this? I think, did you bring that up earlier, Dawn, in the 6 o'clock
Yeah,
hour,
I mean,
if he doesn't step down?
They can definitely put the pressure, and the reason they want this is because they want to ASAP. Murphy would be able to. He would just pick his own person. He would handpick somebody, and then they would, do the replacement.
Yeah, and they mentioned Andy Kim from the 3rd District saying that he was going to run and challenge. But like to your point, Greg, in the first hour, that's not going to go to a Republican. That seat's not going to. No.
Yeah, so they would work it out to their advantage and not let it go to the voters, in other words.
Right.
Although Dawn did point out that all the corruption and all those years of New Jersey corruption gave
Corzine
us
and
Chris Christie.
Yep.
So
all of it.
Sloppy Chris Christie.
Yep. All of that gave way to the Republicans getting a chance to clean things up.
Yep.
And speaking of Chris Christie, he confirmed yesterday on the morning show, on Meet the Press. I think this is on your cut sheet anyway, but he confirmed that he won't run for that Senate seat.
Oh. Well, because he wants to follow Trump around the nation, challenge him to debates, and then make pit stops in Dallas to watch the Cowboys. By the way, he's a Cowboy and a Mets fan, is what Twitter was telling me yesterday, because I posted the picture of him sitting in Jerry's box.
Yeah, we used to have him on. For Mets and Yankees. Mets and Phillies. Sorry.
I love the fact that you could be a New York baseball fan and a Dallas football fan.
Yeah, he's a fraud.
Fraud personified.
Just updating you because last week we had another confirmation of yet another escapee who had come from a different state but had been in Chester County maybe since June. We don't even know. But now there is another meeting that is popping up. They're expecting a very large crowd. This is Chester County in Pennsylvania, obviously, and it'll be at this is the Township Board of Supervisors there, saying that they want to restore confidence of residents, and residents are not letting this go.
Nor should they.
So they're putting everybody's feet to the fire, and this follows initially the Danilo Cavalcante's escape from prison, and now they learned they have this pedophile predator who'd been in their midst and is now at the Chester County prison.
Yeah, I mean, you think about it. Chester County's been in the news now for about a month for all the reasons you never want to be in the news for.
Yeah.
It's been this is a September that county would just like to forget about.
By the way, Kevin on the YouTube chat writes, before Andy Kim's seat, wasn't that John Runyon's seat? He was in our agreed in that district.
Oh, yeah, former Eagle.
That district swings back and forth.
Well, remember T-Mac, Tom McCarthy, who was on the show a lot. That was his.
Well, I just
remember that. That was a heartbreaking loss. It's very close.
It's one district. It's not the entire state of New Jersey.
Yeah, but that district, you're right. It does.
It goes back and forth.
It does.
Yeah, it's like a purple district.
Yeah. So Andy Kim knows that maybe with Biden being so unpopular, maybe he would have lost anyway.
Yeah.
So
you guys
maybe it's a bright move.
You guys used to have Tom McCarthy on the show as well.
Yeah, T-Mac was on all the time.
Philly's T-Mac.
Oh,
no.
Oh, different Tom McCarthy. Okay. Okay. I was going to say. You go from John Runyon to Tom McCarthy. I'm like, what other sport? Now the sports guy's here, and I don't get any of it.
My number 3, we love all the mafia shows. So this, I have to go to this because there was news in the world news that the last Godfather has died, and this goes to in Italy. He was a Godfather famous, so the last actual Godfather in the world the last Don has died. And so there was, I don't know, this was trending on international sites that Italian mafia boss Matteo Messina Denaro, who was arrested back in January after spending 30 years on the run, has passed away. The last Godfather had actually been suffering from cancer.
Oh.
So Italian mafia boss Matteo Denaro has died.
Pour a glass cab out for him.
Right,
tonight.
so many.
There you go.
Talking about his life.
All right.
We are sponsored this morning by the Millville Army Airfield Museum. Help honor World War II aviation heritage at Millville Army Airfield. This is in New Jersey, of course, America's first defense airport and gunnery school for P-47 Thunderbolt fighter pilots. Admissions free. Schedule a group tour online at p47millville.org. Become a member now. Thank you, Millville Army Airfield Museum, for sponsoring our Big Three.
All right, Dawn, thank you very much. Coming up next, if you dressed like John Fetterman and went into the high-end New York City restaurants, the finest of the finest, would they allow you to sit down and would they serve you if you looked like Fetterman? The answers from the New York Post coming up next. Kayal and Company.
Tonight, 7:15, Eagles at Tampa Bay. The line right now is Eagles minus 4.5. I would take that. And the over at 45. Snap into action this NFL season with FanDuel in partnership with Valley Forge Casino. It's America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. That's $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time to get in on the action. You can bet on everything from spreads to player props, over-unders, so much more. Check out that combo that I told you about. Eagles at Tampa Bay for tonight. FanDuel.com/Greg and kick off the NFL season. FanDuel.com/Greg. FanDuel's the official partner of the NFL and is the official partner of 1210 WPHT. 21 and over. President PA. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issue does not withdrawable. Bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. September is Cholesterol Education Month, and it's time to take charge. So how is your cholesterol? For over 38 years, Rescue Natural Supplements has been a trusted partner in cholesterol support. I've relied on Rescue supplements for years. With Rescue, you'll find specific supplements tailored to your needs. Favorites like omega-3s, red yeast rice, and more. Right now, all you have to do is just use the code DROP, D-R-O-P, to double up your order on any cholesterol product for free. Call today at 800-26-ALIVE, 800-262-5483. Speak to a knowledgeable product consultant or use the code online when you visit res-q.com, res-q.com. Again, use the code DROP, D-R-O-P, buy one, get a matching Rescue cholesterol product for free. I've personally seen the firsthand benefits of Rescue supplements. They are incredible. Remember, use the code DROP, D-R-O-P, to double up your cholesterol support order for free today.
When you need to know, depend on KYW News Radio 103.9 FM.
The Writers Guild of America has reached a tentative deal with Hollywood studios. Actors are still striking. Canadian auto workers avoid a strike and make a labor agreement with Ford Motor Company. And Christopher Sanchez strikes out 10 as the Phillies sweep the Mets and lower the magic number for Red October to 1.
Get the latest anytime on KYW News Radio. Now on Crystal Clear 103.9 FM.
You've never needed us more.
1-877 Cars for Kids. K-A-R-S Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. Your car, running or not, could be picked up as soon as the next day. No title, no problem. Go to carsforkids.org today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
You're out of breath. Have a constant dry cough that won't go away. It could be interstitial lung disease. ILD is rare, but it's serious. It can be the fight of your life. And you can't face the fight of your life if you don't know you're in it. Ask your doctor. Find a pulmonologist. Get answers. There's hope. There's help, but don't wait. Go to lungsandU.com/fight ILD.
Hi, this is Norman the Floorman from Norman Carpet. My wife thinks I'm obsessed with astrology. What planet is she living on? Calling all developers, investors, house flippers, and savvy shoppers. I'm selling plush carpet at 99 cents per square foot. I haven't sold carpet that cheap since 1969. Visit us online at normancarpet.net or visit our Bryn Mawr or Conshohocken showroom. Call for a free home estimate and, oh yes, 48-hour installation available. That's 800-220-RUGS.
At Bob's Discount Furniture, when you find a complete dining set that seats 6 and comes with an extendable leaf, like my Blake set for only $5.99.
Oh my, Bob.
And a sofa that doubles as a chaise, and a bed, and storage like my Playscape for only $9.99.
Oh my, Bob.
And a queen mattress with world-famous Bobapedic memory foam and an 18-year warranty like my Treasure for only $7.99.
Oh my, Bob.
Well, there's only one thing to say.
Oh my, Bob.
Bob's Discount Furniture.
Yeah, we got to talk about QC Kinetics, because if you're suffering in pain, maybe you're aching back, your knees, your shoulder, whatever it is, you really just check out QC Kinetics. You could call them. It's a free consultation, QC Kinetics. And people always ask me, this weekend, people came up to me at the kids' football game. Dawn, does QC Kinetics work? Yes. QC Kinetics actually does work. In fact, they get rave reviews. This is non-surgical regenerative treatment care. And this is for maybe you're suffering with a little arthritis, or maybe this is from a past injury, right? So whatever that is, discover the value of the natural joint pain treatment options available at QC Kinetics. And they're really helping patients through this. If you've been suffering from conditions like some debilitating joint pain, maybe you're just going through this and you've tried everything else, and now you're to that point where you're thinking about surgery and all the downtime. You're headed into the winter, the holiday season. Before you do that, why not just call QC Kinetics and find out about this option, non-surgical regenerative medicine treatments. And I recently visited the QC Kinetics at KOP right near King of Prussia Mall there. I mean, their medical professionals are outstanding and they're incredible. And this can enhance your quality of life. Why? Because they apply this directly into your aching joint. And that means it repairs and restores this aching joint that needs to repair itself with no drugs, no surgery, no downtime. So QCkinetics.com, QC Kinetics, make sure that you call them before you move forth with something that means a lot of downtime in your life. QCkinetics.com. Tell them Dawn sent you.
Free speech lives here. Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
Kayal Company, 8:54. It's Monday morning. Just about an hour away from another Disney keyword for your chance to win a free trip to Walt Disney World. A big prediction for Fox News coming up in the 9 o'clock hour. And also a blasting on truth from Trump to Stern. A lot of good stuff coming up in the final hour. But let's put a bow on the 8 o'clock hour. Kevin is in Northeast Philadelphia. He's got some thoughts on the John Fetterman attire and wardrobe. Kevin, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Nick. How you doing?
Doing well,
all
buddy.
Good. All right. In the movie, My Cousin Vinny, when he walks in and the judge tells him to put a suit on the next time, he shows up without the suit and he holds him in contempt of court and puts him in jail.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Oh, no. Did we lose him? Yeah, Kevin, he comes in with the leather jacket. And Judge Chamberlain Haller says, you will look lawyerly the next time you come in. And then he comes in and he's wearing a good suit. And then it ends up in mud, and he has to buy the hand-me-down suit from the hand-me-down store because the whole town's got the flu. Yeah, that's exactly what should happen, Kevin. Somebody should sit there. And, I don't care that there's no rules in writing. It's an unwritten rule, so to speak, that you look professional in this setting. You're a sitting United States senator, and you're just granted all of these freedoms because, well, he connects. He's the everyman. That's the reason he's got the job.
By the way, a little piece of trivia here. Do you know who the judge was?
Yeah, it was Uncle.
Uncle?
No. He's from the Addams family.
Nope.
Yes, it was.
No. The Munsters.
Oh, no, that's right. The Munsters.
Yeah,
yes, you're right.
Fred Gwynn. Herman Munster.
That is correct.
Just a fabulous, fabulous actor.
He had those things in his neck in that show.
Yeah, I had those things because it was funny.
Yeah, it was funny because they're bigger than the normal thing. Did you say you? What's a you?
No, but I mean, his point is a good one.
It's a totally valid point.
You can't show up into a court dressed like a schlub, a schlub if you're representing somebody. Can you imagine if you are on, death row and, being tried for murder with the death penalty, and somebody dressed like John Fetterman comes in and says, "Yep, I'm representing you."
There are people sitting in prison on death row, best dressed better than John Fetterman.
That's a good point.
Melanie checks in on Twitter. She
Yep.
says, "I had to wear a dress or a skirt before a judge for my divorce. The judge didn't allow pants for women in his courtroom, and men had to have a tie and a jacket. Our U.S. Congress is a disgrace."
It is.
That's Melanie H24 on Twitter.
Yeah, and wow. It's funny, the older I get, the more I'm just like, just dress like, I never loved the, oh, if you dress for success, you'll be successful. I don't buy that.
Right.
But like, there is a dress code for a reason places.
Right.
You don't just, I showed up at the Union League one time when I was a producer here. I showed up at the Union League in jeans.
Ooh.
And they were just like, no. So I ran across the street. There used to be, I don't know if it's still there. Used to be like a Banana Republic over there or something like that. And I bought like a $100 pair of khakis. And I was a producer at the time. I made no money.
Right.
They probably gave you a tie and a jacket.
So they did. And I went over there. I bought the pants. I wore them for the event, and then I took them back afterwards and returned them.
Good move. Very sound strategy.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
There you go. 855-839-1210. Hour 4 on the way, including a prediction about the future of Fox News and who could end up purchasing it. We'll get to that as we continue. It's Kayal and Company, and we back after this on Talk Radio 1210. WPHT.
Be first in line for a 2024 Phillies season ticket package before the public on sale by placing a deposit now. Gain access to exclusive benefits such as price savings and incredible seat locations. Reserve yours at phillies.com/season. Wrap up the regular season at CBP when the Phils welcome Pittsburgh to Philadelphia on September 26th and 27th, both at 6:40, and September 28th at 6:05. Order tickets now at phillies.com.
Bringing in your front line is as easy as 1, 2, key. SEPTA Key Advantage is a unique and valuable transit benefit program that gives your employees all-day, everyday access to the entire SEPTA system. That means your staff can get in for their first, second, or third shifts and even travel the system on their off hours, seamlessly and affordably, all thanks to you. Learn how easy it is to customize a SEPTA Key Advantage program for your team at SEPTA.org/partner programs. That's SEPTA.org/partner programs.
WPHT, WPHT-HD, WOGL HD3 Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
I feel like I'm constantly cleaning hair off my bathroom floor. At least my Swiffer Sweeper makes it easy. Sweeper heavy-duty dry cloths have ultra-thick pads to trap and lock hairs, like a hair magnet. And when I'm finished cleaning up my hair, Sweeper takes care of his too. Now the hair is gone, all thanks to Swiffer. Try Swiffer Sweeper heavy-duty dry cloths. I promise you'll love them or your money back. And also try Swiffer Sweeper Wet to make quick work of tough, sticky messes.
Big football weekend for high school football, tailgating all day. Thank God for What a Crock. What a Crock ready-made meals are just saving me right and left. And as well, tonight we got Monday Night Football. Again, I don't have time for all this. I don't have time to make things from scratch or homemade. So how am I still serving things like What a Crock's hearty beef chili? How am I still, coming up with these homemade meals? Yeah, thanks to What a Crock meals. And just check them out at whatacrock.com. By the way, this is one of my worst kept secrets, I might say, to make sure my family and friends, especially my boys, get that hearty, healthy dinner every single evening. But whatacrock.com's huge variety of delicious meals designed for your slow cooker make it so easy. I order online, whatacrock.com, get ready-made meals delivered to my doorstep. Every day then I put the ready-made meal in my slow cooker in the morning and then run around all day. When we come home after work and school, dinner is simmering. And the boys, they love it. So some of the fall meals, because they do have different menus. So on the fall meal menu is the homemade chili. It's a beef chili, classic beef chili, and great for these chilly evenings, especially for football. The French toast bread pudding dessert is to die for. It is delicious. Fresh artisan bread smothered in cinnamon and cream. There's so many great dishes that I absolutely love. And it provides, some of that variety, so I'm not making the same things over and over. But the apple cider chicken, that's delicious too. One of the fall favorites with sweet apples, caramelized onions. I could go on and on. You could also send a What a Crock meal maybe to your college kid or your nephew. You don't know what to send them. Your grandson or daughter, they're in college. Send them a What a Crock meal. They love it. So here's the thing. Use WPHT. That's the promo code at checkout when you go to whatacrock.com. You get $10 off your first order, whatacrock.com. Tell them Dawn sent you.
Hey, Riverton. We know your favorite station is Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
.903, it is Kayal and Company live here on a Monday morning. Nick, Dawn, and Greg, Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Daniel Valdez, Anthony Dorenzo, our associate producers. Big final hour on the way. Morning Mystery Movie Clip is coming up in just about 15 minutes. Dawn's Big 3 at 9:30. We've got part 2 of the cut sheet, as well as, yes, another chance to win a trip to Walt Disney World. Free vacation all September long. Final week we will be doing this at 9:50. You listen, we give you the keyword. You head on over to 1210WPHT.com and enter that keyword for a chance to win that free vacation to Walt Disney World. And while you're there, make sure you stop by and pick up some 1210 merch, the merch store. I'm double merching today. I've got the coffee mug and the T-shirt.
Yeah, double merching.
If you're on YouTube right now, this is what we call product placement, boys and girls.
Why don't you? Can you move that microphone out of your way for a little bit so we can just see and just kind of. How's
that?
There, it's a good fit. It's a good fit in tea.
Yeah,
it's good fit in tea, right?
Yep.
And
right,
as Dawn has said,
nice.
the mug is big, the big mug,
yeah,
the big black
is.
mug.
We don't need to get
It's
back
not a
into
low
this.
energy,
Right.
smaller mug.
Right. My daughters saw it over the weekend. They're like,
Did they like it?
That's your radio show. I was like, yes.
So it's Kayal and Company. It's like spray painted font, and it says "Free Speech Lives Here" written in black underneath it. It's a light gray shirt.
Yep.
You can go to 1210 WPHT to purchase it. 1210 WPHT. We need you out there representing. Like you are our marketing department.
Yes.
So please help us market. We try and provide you quality entertainment for free Monday through Friday. Not many other shows do that. Everybody's like, hey, subscribe here. You have to subscribe to Spotify to get my podcast, or you have to do this here to get this. We give it to you for free. We just ask that you buy some merch and show it off so people can say, oh, I listen to that show too.
Yes. And earlier this morning, we had a Dawn Show T-shirt suggestion that said, the Dawn Show, it's for the boys.
I like that.
Yes.
I like that a lot.
Is that the leader in the clubhouse? 'Cause we did have a mention. There was a mention
sin.
last week.
It's a sin.
It's a sin.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. I like it's a sin better.
Do you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you do the
you do
Dawn
too?
Show, it's a sin on the front, and then on the back, it's for the boys.
I'm being outvoted. That's fine. So you like that better than the Dawn Show is for the boys?
I don't know. I like them both.
I think that's hysterical.
Make two of them.
We need like I need to come up with a font or something for you because like this is a more edgy show, so I wanted to make it look like that. Dawn is a very she's a journalist. She's very proper. She's
she's professional.
She's a lady.
Unlike me, she's professional.
Lady.
She gets to the heart of every issue. She says things with emotions and feelings. She sometimes cries. Like we need to reflect that in her shirt. Right?
By the way, you just called this show an edgy show.
Did I?
Yeah. Are we edgy?
Sure.
I think we just report the facts and share opinions.
Well, I don't know. I got a lot of hate email last week about how we were doing things that were inappropriate.
Well, that's your fault. That's you guys. I had nothing to do with that.
Yeah.
I wasn't, talking about mug sizes. I blame Dawn for that.
I wish I had this like a smaller example of the mug because I think they don't know what I was. So I was trying to think of this mug. And
well, you have big hands. So.
15 or 16.
Right.
Yeah.
Right?
What size shoe do you wear, Dawn?
8.5.
8.5. Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, maybe that's it. I don't have like Dana Perino.
Yeah,
has like tiny little.
Yeah, she's like 4'10".
Yeah,
See, you know what you
she's
bring
like an
up?
elf.
Stop. She's just petite. What you bring up is
she's a poor elf.
Yeah. She looks like an elf. She's been in the studio, like
she's very petite.
Zioli's not exactly towering inferno.
Yeah, Zioli's not built like Fetterman.
And he looked like a giant standing next to her.
Yeah. She's like 5 feet tall.
Yeah.
And that's with hair and heels.
Yeah.
But no, what you bring up is actually one of the things I tried out for in my lifetime was QVC locally.
I think you would be good at that.
Because I love QVC.
Right.
And it's the American dream. Inventors go there. I mean, it's a cool environment. And they have like 100 acres. I'm exaggerating, but it's amazing behind the scenes what they do. And it's really a cool place. And by the way, those hosts make a ton of money. They really rake it in.
Mm-hmm.
So I tried out. They had 9,000 applications. I made it to the top 3. And then a guy beat me out because they didn't have anybody. Because they want, anyway, one of the things they really look for, your hands.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's their whole, one of the things they really look for.
Okay.
But, so that was like when people were making comments, that's all I could think of. This is why I've lost out to the guy on QVC because of my Fred Flintstone fingers.
Fred Flintstone.
But no, I still to this day, I think if you laugh at those QVC hosts, try to talk about a Kayal and Company Cup. Try to talk about it for even 3 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
I know.
It's not easy what they do.
I know.
JR writes, the show is definitely not edgy, too mainstream. Are we main?
Too main. Okay, so we're too mainstream. And
that's the funniest thing I've ever heard.
Oh, you're too right wing. You're too conspiracy. You know what? You're starting to sound like Fox News. You're becoming mainstream.
Why don't you ask some of the suits how mainstream we are, and if they want to promote this show or this station? The answer would be no.
People just hear what they want to hear. I'm convinced of that.
Yeah, and if we were mainstream, we would have been like, isn't that great? Isn't that great? The Taylor's, oh, look, the Swifties, and isn't that wonderful?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. We're the only show on this in Morning Drive in Philadelphia that discusses the stuff that we're discussing in the way we. No other show is. I mean, like I'm sure there's other shows that are talking about the Taylor Swift and Jason Travis Kelce
I was just
thing.
in the bathroom and I heard Bill and Jen on B101. It's over the speaker and they were talking about it.
But they're not bringing up the fact that she was in an Eagles hoodie, and
or
they're not
he's
bringing
pimping
up
Pfizer,
or that he's pimping Pfizer, or that she is completely overrated and maybe a little bit of a psycho chick.
But that's why.
That's just my opinion.
To your point, I was trying to read the mom vibe of Donna Kelce, who I really like. You know, she's a football mom, and she and her husband Ed have been through it and stayed married for the boys, and maybe some of us could relate to going through some things like that. But she's kind of, if you watch the mom, she's, even when she claps it sometimes, she's like, and I was inferring, just trying to read her body and thinking, oh, mom thinks, oh boy, this one's a handful, Ed. Oh boy, but as a mom, all you're thinking about, even from when your kids are teenagers, what if this is the one? What if this is the one? And so you want to be, because all you're thinking about is in the future, the grandkids coming to your house on Christmas Day or for the holidays, for Hanukkah. It's right. We just came through Rosh Hashanah. You want them there for the family meals.
Yeah.
And so that's all the moms are thinking about.
Wasn't she just that? She was just because she was in LBI for some wedding like a month or so ago. She was there with some dude. So like, what do we do?
Yeah, she's playing the game. She's on the.
Well, look. To Dawn's point, I'm going to it's very sexist of me to say that because when guys are rock stars and they're going through 8 to 10 women a night,
they become legends.
They become legends. But her having a sort of dating life, we're like, well, she must be a psycho.
Yep. And that's one way to phrase it. That's a polite way.
Well, think about that's her. The reason she is popular with young women is because she writes about her breakups.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What?
She's basically doing what I do on Twitter, except she does it in songs and he makes money.
Sid writes, "This is the what we do portion of the show."
Yes. I'm glad Sid's wired just like me.
Yeah.
Because some people will say we're a right-wing show. Some people say we're edgy. Others say we're too mainstream. We're the only show in this building that went 11 minutes unscripted without a plan and made it look like it was part of the program.
Amen. Amen. This was, just so you know, we do have a show sheet.
Yes.
This was not on it.
And we're not beholden to the show sheet, much like sports radio hosts that pose stupid questions and give out a phone number.
You can count on us.
Will the Eagles blow out Tampa Bay tonight?
Yes.
610.
Take the phone.
Eagles!
Wait, Nick, before we get off the air today, you and I need to do a little wager.
That's right, we do.
So just keep that in mind, my friend.
The Eagles!
Yeah.
And they'll play tonight. All right, 855-839-1210 is how you climb in. So the last thing on the Fetterman front, and then we've got an update with Trump and Howard Stern with their beef, and also a prediction with Fox News as to who could actually swoop in and purchase the network after Rupert Murdoch has handed it down to his kids. This person does not believe that is going to last very long. But the New York Post, in regards to John Fetterman and the ridiculous attire and all the conversation that we've been having around that since last Thursday, so they tried to basically send out one of their reporters to the finest New York City restaurants dressed like John Fetterman, wearing sweatshirts and cargo shorts and looking like, a random college guy, and see if they were admitted and allowed to come in and dine at these establishments. So they sent out a New York Post reporter, John Levine, I'm not sure how you say his last name. He learned the hard truth this past week when he crisscrossed the Big Apple's culinary landmarks wearing Fetterman's trademark hoodie, gym shorts, and sneakers and tried to gain entry, only to face scorn and mockery from many hosts and waitresses and waiters with more common sense than Congress. According to Daniel on the Upper East Side, where a 7-course tasting menu will cost you a cool $275, quote, he would not be permitted here. Point blank, period.
That's amazing.
$270 a person?
$275 for a 7-course tasting menu, yes. She admitted that she did not know who John Fetterman was, but, quote, we have turned away guests for being improperly dressed regardless of their occupation. At another restaurant, a very famous one, and I'll probably butcher this name, Le Bernardine, a restaurant with a hostess named Julian who served up an array of another bunch of words I can't pronounce. Quote, no athletic wear is permitted, he said flatly, staring down the Washington Post reporter and denying a nibble of Chef Eric Rippert's $480 dinner and wine prefixed menu. No athletic wear permitted, and he would not be permitted here. Those are the first two. And then the final one, this other person says, Aldo Soam is the guy's name who runs, he's the wine director, said jackets and pants were on loan to those with Fetterman's fashion sense, basically telling these people that showed up trying to gain admittance into the establishment, much like Greg Stocker at the Union League, they have to go and get dressed elsewhere, and then they will give you a jacket so that you can sit there. So think about this. These are places that I would never be caught dead in because I love a lot of good food and good mixed drinks, but I'm not spending $480 or $275, and I'm not in that New York City elite vibe. Like, I don't do that type of stuff. Not that I could afford to anyway, but even if I could, it's not my vibe. It's not the type of company I like to be around. I mean, they're basically telling you that John Fetterman, and I know this audience already knows that and realizes it, what he tries to pull off and what he does pull off with the United States Congress as a senator is not going to fly in some of the bigwig eateries in the Big Apple. So I thought that was pretty interesting. It's like the New York Post did like a Man About Town almost, basically.
It's such a great idea. It's such a great idea.
Should we send Valdez and Dorenzo out like that?
Well, no, I mean, they've done it already. So,
okay.
We'd just be copying off of
That's
that.
true. That's true.
But, like, yeah, you can't. I mean, I tried to get into a John George restaurant one time in New York City wearing a hoodie. And they're like, no, we have a dress code here.
Yeah. To your point, when I got married in 2008, we got married at a golf course in Hellertown, Pennsylvania, private country club.
Yep.
And with the package that we got, the groom, his best man, and the father-in-law and the father got a free round of golf. And this was 2008, before I started playing golf, 5 years before I got into golf. And if you've ever been at a public golf course, you'll always tell that there are certain people that are there for the first time that don't play golf, that don't know what they're doing, and they show up in cargo shorts. Cargo shorts are a no-no on the golf course.
Yeah.
And I had cargo shorts on. And I was in the pro shop buying a sleeve of balls and a glove. And I get out there to go to the first tee, and the guy comes up to me and says, "Sir, you cannot have cargo shorts on at this golf course." I said, "But I'm getting married here. I'm the groom." "Sir, with all due respect, you cannot wear cargo shorts here." So I went into the pro shop and spent $85 on a pair of golf shorts.
Yeah.
Wow.
After my in-laws spent 25, 30 grand, whatever the wedding was, and they were like, "Oh, we don't care."
Did you return them like I did?
No.
We should have.
I kept them.
Yeah.
I don't know where they are now, but, you know.
Well, this whole show has kind of been us pointing out how there are literally dress codes everywhere you go.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And like somebody on the YouTube chat, or maybe it was Twitter, I don't remember, somebody made the point that can you imagine if a doctor came in dressed like that?
Oh, I know.
Like, "Hi, I'm your heart surgeon."
Yeah.
Like, no, you're not.
What if your heart surgeon came in on a Friday and he was dressed in his golf outfit because he had a 2 o'clock tee time, and you're there at 12:45 for an appointment, and he just looked like he was ready to check out and exit?
Yeah.
You would probably be like, "Doc, don't I deserve a little bit more of your time and attention?"
Yep.
I know you got that tee time, and that's where your brain is, but yeah, like my heart is failing. So,
but he does this. He uses this mental health aspect of what he's going through, and I'm not downplaying mental health. It's a serious issue, but he's using this as an excuse to say, "Well, I can then dress like a slob."
That's correct.
And if he didn't have these issues, he would be required to wear something different.
And if you point it out and criticize him,
yes,
you're tone deaf to his his tragic issues that he's dealt with lately.
It's a win-win situation for him because you can't criticize him.
They insulate him from criticism.
It's completely insulated. And even guys in his own party like Dick Durbin, they kind of tiptoe around.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's, there needs to be some sort of, let me play that again.
It's funny. Okay. They tiptoe around that like everybody tiptoes around saying Kamala should not be the choice for Joe as Veep.
Exactly.
Well, it's not my decision. It's Joe's decision.
Yeah, the Dems are very good about not throwing one another under the bus. They tiptoe around it. This is Dick Durbin on one of the Sunday shows over the weekend being asked about the Senate dress code. Cut 12.
Something that's going on inside the Senate, which is a debate about the dress code. You say that you are concerned about the fact that your leader, Chuck Schumer, directed that the Senate no longer enforce its dress code. Can you explain why you're concerned about that?
Well, let me tell you, the good news is the conversation continues, and I believe there's going to be an agreement, I hope very, very soon, among members. It is experience in the Senate to see individual senators and their individual fashion taste. I could go through the long litany of those that I've seen in the past. But I think it's very positive that Chuck is sitting down with the senators who are interested in this issue, and I expect an agreement to be reached very soon.
Why do you think the dress code shouldn't change?
Well, I can tell you, you really don't have a dress code in the rules of the United States Senate.
See?
What we need to do is to reach an accommodation that is
an accommodation.
Some of this is more challenging than it sounds, but I think with the progress that's been made to date is very encouraging.
An accommodation.
Mm-hmm. Make life for John as easy as possible. And if I'm Schumer, this is where I'm saying, we've got this issue here with Fetterman. I've got Menendez in New Jersey with his debacle. The president with his age, his son. If you think of, there's a lot of negative talking points, not to mention the economy and everything else. Like the last thing we need is Republicans or even common sense people saying, the Dems are a mess right now. The last thing we need is somebody pointing out our guy because he wears a sweatshirt.
Exactly.
Like, that's an easy fix.
Yep.
Fixing Joe, you can't do.
Yep.
Fixing Mr. Menendez, you can't do.
Yep.
All you got to do is tell Fetterman, hey, get in the bathroom, take the sweatshirt off, and put on a Brooks Brothers.
Well, somebody brought up the point, and I don't know if it's – I don't know one way or another. Does he – because of the limitations of his stroke, does he have a hard time putting on a suit?
I don't know. I mean, it doesn't seem like and I've only seen him get out of vehicles and walk down hallways. And yeah, he's 6'5", 300 pounds, and he walks like Sasquatch to begin with. But I don't see any physical limitations on dressing.
The only limitations I've seen were his cognitive ones,
processing and audio,
hearing words and not being able to process them.
Yep.
I haven't seen any sort of mobility issues from him whatsoever, other than him being
Greg, but it goes along with the fact that he has a lot of stroke patients also suffer mental health, depression issues. So the fact that he has trouble getting dressed in the morning is all part of that package. And so to me, not only are we just lowering the bar for one individual, and it's that we're talking about 1%ers. I mean, that's really, I find it amazing that progressives talk about those privileged 1%ers, but in fact, if you look at what they're doing, they're trying to change the rules for one individual who's depressed, clearly is healing and recovering. I don't even know if he's in full control of everything, and that's why he has that aide sneaking him through the basement. And so ultimately, to me, all of this just seems cruel. And the fact that the media just keeps on going with it, and everybody in Congress, it's somebody needs to stand up and say, no, this is not right.
Well, the Dems have lowered the bar. Their mantra now is, if you're alive, you can serve.
Yep.
All you have to do is be breathing, and you can serve.
And it's by no mistake that one of the first Republicans to speak out, for example, about Bob Menendez was John Fetterman.
Yep.
Because clearly, they released a statement, and who's the biggest rubber stamper? Boom, Fetterman.
Yep.
There you go.
Aaron writes, wasn't he dressing like that before his stroke? Yes, absolutely was. But this is just a way for him to continue dressing the way he wants to dress.
Yep.
One more, and then I know we have to get to the
mystery clip.
Mystery movie clip. Tasha writes, there's a dress code for Delilah's Gentlemen's Club in Philadelphia, but not our Senate.
So senators have dress codes, but strippers do not.
That's a great point.
What a wild world we live in.
That's a great point. You cannot go into Delilah's.
Yeah. No white T-shirts and baggy shorts.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, 9:23 Monday morning. Let's get to our morning mystery movie clip.
And now, the morning mystery movie clip on Kayal Company. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Q-tip. Throw it away. That's not working. Hit it with this.
Don't ever do that again. Do you hear me?
Just expressing myself.
No. Not like that, you're not. All right? This is where you live.
Think you know what it is? Be call at 12 at 855-839-1210, and you could win this great prize.
And today's great prize is a 4-pack of tickets to tour the Battleship New Jersey in Camden, New Jersey. For more information, visit battleshipnewjersey.org. 4-pack of tickets. If you can identify that morning mystery movie clip, caller 12-855-839-1210. And by the way, one of those individuals is celebrating their 55th birthday today. See if you get the winner and the prize when we come back here on Kayal & Company on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
This story is called The Ugly Truth About Timeshare. If you think you've done your family a favor by buying a timeshare, you need my help. Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, CEO and founder of Wesley Financial Group. 10 years ago, I started helping folks cancel their timeshare, and in the process started what's now called the timeshare cancellation industry. Timeshare is the only thing that you can buy that you can't tell me how much it's going to cost or when it's going to end. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check to fill out any amount they want for annual maintenance and assessment fees. The crazy thing is, this never ends. Even when you die, your family's now going to be stuck with this burden. Stop the insanity today. Call my office now. If we take you as a client, I guarantee we'll cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call for your free information kit. 800-990-3434. 800-990-3434. 800-990-3434.
See Joe Conklin with the City Rhythm Orchestra at the Miller Center in Reading on Wednesday, October 18th. And at Springfield High School in Delaware County, Saturday, November 11th.
Oh my God, it was amazing.
I loved it.
All his voices are fabulous, and the fact that he sings.
I couldn't imagine how good it would be with the orchestra. Awesome show.
I've never laughed so much my cheeks hurt. I'm like, yeah.
That's Conklin and City Rhythm at the Miller Center in Reading and at Springfield High School in Delco. For tickets, go to joeconklin.com. joeconklin.com!
Hey, it's Rich Zioli. When you're involved in an accident, you need a lawyer to help you maximize your recovery and get the fair value of your case. You need the law offices of Thomas G. Skopanich. My buddy Tom has been serving the greater Delaware Valley for over 25 years, and he's helped many clients. With offices located in Lansdale, Montgomery County, let Tom help you maximize your recovery and get the fair value for your case. Contact Tom at scopelawyer.com or 215-624-2211.
Find your next great hire with Indeed, the hiring platform that makes it easy to attract, interview, and hire candidates all in the same place. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Hey, it's Rich Zioli. Do you really want to take shots the rest of your life just to lose weight? NJ Diet's typical results are twice as fast as weight loss injections without any of the side effects. Plus, you learn proper portion control. You develop healthy eating habits that last you the rest of your life. By the end of NJ Diet's 40-day program, you will lose 20 to 40 plus pounds, contractually guaranteed. You will lose the weight. You will keep off the weight the natural way. NJ Diet uses your hair, saliva, and blood work along with scans to personalize natural solutions and supplements. That's going to get your body into the fat-burning zone. Then, NJ Diet uses your DNA info to help keep the weight off. Locations throughout the East Coast are available with live online video consultations. Don't take shots the rest of your life. Lose weight quickly the natural way with NJ Diet. 855-5NJ-DIET, 855-5NJ-DIET, or schedule your consult at njdiet.com. njdiet.com, lose the weight for good.
Hi, this is Dr. Brad Schaefer. As a podiatrist, I can tell you no two people's feet are alike, which is why I recommend Dr. Scholl's custom fit orthotic inserts. They're customized for your feet, so you get a unique solution your feet really need, not just a one-size-fits-all insole. They're clinically proven to provide pain relief for achy feet, knees, lower back, plantar fasciitis, and heels. Take the Dr. Scholl's Custom Fit Orthotics Assessment in Walmart today, now in the foot care aisle.
It was the day we all feared. The stock market went down and then kept going.
2008, when the markets lost over 50% of their value. But that was over a decade ago. Today, it's not so painful. Jim Cipriotti at Retire Ready Financial Group calls that financial amnesia. When you forget the pain of losing half your savings, and more importantly, ignore the fact that it can happen again. A complimentary consultation from Retire Ready Financial Group can show you where you stand now before the next market pullback. You're much closer to retirement than you were in 2008. Don't let it happen again. Call Jim Cipriotti at 610-894-7415 for a complimentary consultation. That's 610-894-7415 or online at retirereadyfg.com. You can forget where you put your keys, your glasses, or even your car. Don't forget to protect your retirement.
Investment advisory services offered through Retire Ready Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through James V. Cipriotti, NPN number 2083768.
Listen on your schedule. Anytime. Just go to 1210 and WPHT on the Odyssey app and search the Kayal and Company podcasts.
Kayal and Company, 9:30, as we continue live from Monday morning. Nick, Dawn, and Greg, Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Get us on the free Odyssey app. Watch us live on YouTube, on Twitter, and Instagram at 1210 WPHT. 20 minutes out, another Disney keyword. We will also find out what's on tap for the Dawn Show and who won Twitter today. And, of course, we've got Dawn's Big Three. And what's on the cut sheet part 2. So a lot to hit on before we get out of here this morning. But time to give away the Battleship New Jersey 4-pack of tickets because Amanda in the Northeast is the winner this morning. Amanda, what movie clip did we just play for you?
That would be Hitch.
That is correct. Nice work, Amanda.
Yeah.
There you go.
Thank you.
4-pack of tickets, Battleship, New Jersey, and Will Smith celebrating his 55th birthday today. And that clip was Will Smith and Kevin James. Thank you very much,
Yeah.
Amanda. We appreciate you.
Thank you so much, guys. Love it. Thank
All
you.
right, you got it. There she is. 4-pack of tickets for Amanda as Hitch. Will Smith, 55. I think he just slapped Chris Rock during the commercial again. I think I saw that come down the wire.
Remember when that was all the rage and everybody was just, that's all anybody could talk about.
That was talked about for almost a month.
Oh, it's annoying.
It really is. It almost got as much run as the Lauren Boebert dating situation. Or the Trump-Stern war, which I want to just mention this before we get to Dawn's Big Three, because we played you the clip last week of Howard Stern.
I am woke, mother, and I love it.
Where he is embracing his newfound wokeness, and he says it's because, well, you get labeled woke if you hate Trump or this or that or the other thing. And Trump said this, and I laughed when I saw this get shared on Twitter. Trump posted it on his Truth feed, and I'm just picturing Trump and hearing his voice, and he says the following in this post: "The real Howard Stern is a weak, pathetic, and disloyal guy who lost his friends and much of his audience. Until just recently, I haven't heard his name mentioned in years. I did his show many times in the good old days, and then he went woke, and nobody cares about him any longer. I don't know what they really pay him, but it shouldn't be much. His influence is gone, and without that, he's got nothing. Just a broken weirdo, unattractive both inside and out, trying like hell to be relevant." So there's Trump's post and his rebuttal to that. Which you knew, like, if you mention Trump's name in a negative way and you're anybody of substance, and look, like Howard Stern still technically does matter because the name and the brand of 35 plus years, you know it's going to get back to Trump. And you know he consumes the media, and he's going to have a rebuttal. And I don't think there's anything inaccurate.
There's just some things like we don't need a presidential candidate discussing, and Howard Stern is one of them. Like, who cares? Like, seriously, dude. He's tweeting about that at 2 a.m. Like, what is he doing?
Honestly, I think Trump's rebuttal to Stern is more interesting than any rebuttal to Chris Christie.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I mean, look, Trump kind of swept in and kind of replaced Howard Stern as the guy who will say anything.
That's actually a good point.
So, you know, there's probably a part of Stern that feels threatened by that.
That's
you know, somebody
very good point.
Claiming his mantle as, you know,
Mr. No Filter.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I mean, they were good friends. I mean, he was at Stern was at Trump's second wedding to Marla Maples. And I think Trump was at Stern's wedding to Beth, too.
Okay.
So, I mean, there is a history there.
Yes.
You know, they are friends, or they were friends. So, I don't know.
All right. 9:33 as we get to Dawn Stenzelin's Big Three at 9.
It's the Big 3 at 9 on Kayal and Company.
Big 3 at 9 will begin with starting today. I know that you'll be happy to know the Biden administration says it's providing $600 million in funding to produce new at-home COVID-19 tests and restarting the website starting today, allowing all of us to, again, order up to 4 free tests per household.
Oh, wow. I'm looking
news you can use, Nikhil.
Yeah, if I get to take my kids trick-or-treating this year, I might actually go around and see, forget about the Starburst and the Mr. Good bars. I'm hoping some houses give out free COVID testing kits this year.
What's this costing us?
No. It's free.
You're free.
Of course it's free. Yeah,
the big guy announced $600 million in funding.
$600 million. Okay.
It's free.
Okay.
4 free tests. So order yours, Department of Health and Human Services.
Boy, wouldn't you love to be on the other end of the company that's making these things? And, imagine that giant payday they get.
Well, and it still pales in comparison to what Zelensky's getting from this administration.
Yep. I would like the if Trump is elected, I would like him to come out and say, you know what, I'm going to give the American people free Kayal and Company T-shirts, and it's just going to cost he forks over $600 million. We give him a ton of T-shirts, and then he gives them out free.
Yes.
That would be great for us.
Absolutely. To show you how over I am with COVID and how done with it, I'd rather see $600 million go to Zelensky. Give him another $600 million before you give out these stupid tests. If you don't feel good, stay home. Stop testing. God, these test freaks. Oh, I get a runny nose. I better swab my right nostril.
Well, you can swab for free again. So starting today, you can go to covidtests.gov starting today, and no-cost tests will be delivered for free by the United States Postal Service.
Free.
Yes. So let's talk about the economy. We've talked about the third quarter winding down this week. We've talked about the possible government shutdown looming, and you aired some of that take as well. We know that the U.S. economy, as the third quarter winds down, the Federal Reserve placing a pause last week on its campaign of increasing interest rates to combat inflation, which is at record rates. And the Fed, though, does not have a recession in its forecast, but is signaling slower growth ahead. So this, as the UAW, the union workers, United Auto Workers, still on strike. We've had some in Bucks County and Langhorne speaking out about this. So across the country, Joe Biden expected tomorrow to join those UAW workers in Michigan and join the union strong on the picket line. So he's going to picket.
Yeah. Speaking of the financial issues in the economy, by the way, I was checking my mail on Saturday. All junk mail. I got a credit card offer in the mail with an annual fee and a cool interest rate of 29.995%. Yeah. No, thank you. I ripped that thing up so quick. Yeah, I need to pay you an annual fee and 30% interest? No, thanks.
Yes.
Bidenomics, baby.
And we have to talk about, the rising price of oil, international benchmark, crude now sitting above 93 a barrel. And remember the resumption, because Anthony Dorenzo mentioned this to me, the resumption of student loan payments early next month. Remember, this is a big Biden push that he would put that off or have loan forgiveness. It didn't happen. So you have all these individuals who now have to start paying up on their student loans. They've had a pass for a while. So that's expected as another drag on economic growth and consumer spending. Just want to put all that in a little package for you as far as all things economic. Number 3, Cleveland Clinic's annual Mention It survey. These are researchers here who say in the United States of America, most men believe they're living a healthy lifestyle, but half are not getting a yearly physical or taking care of their mental health.
I'll be honest, I've never had a physical in my life.
What?
Never.
Bro, come on, dude.
No.
How did you go through high school sports and not have a physical?
Oh, I'm sorry, as an adult.
Oh, okay,
yes.
because I was going to say.
Since I got out of college, I don't think I've actually gone to a doctor for like an annual physical checkup.
Physical and yearly blood work. You should.
Yeah.
Starting at like 40. Actually, you should have done
40
it.
I'll be 40 in January.
Well,
Yeah.
Actually, you should have started at like 36 or 37.
But now's a good time to start.
40 is a good.
All right.
And it goes by family history.
That's my New Year's resolution.
Yeah. But you always have to look at family history, and given your family history, I would seriously, I would say that's a big determinant.
Now that you bring that up, and given my family, I don't know that I want to know.
No, you do. That's another piece of it. People don't want to know. That's a whole other study that we never even discussed. But this survey, researchers say 65% of men are hesitant to seek professional help for issues like stress, anxiety, and depression. And also, most men say they're reluctant to address any sexual health issues as well. 1 in 3 men admit experiencing some issues with having intimacy, but many are not seeking professional help for that either. And they point out that sexual dysfunction is one of the most common issues that men can deal with, particularly with age, but it's also associated with other health issues. So it's not just about that one thing. Usually if they solve something else, then that solves that.
Okay.
Interesting.
I would say as a radio doctor myself, if men are having those issues, skip the pill and just watch the Bobert video. That'll help you out.
Stop. Like if you have, blood flow issues or, high blood pressure, heart issues, that can all lead to that. So take care of yourself, men.
Either that or your wife ain't doing the kinky.
Blame a woman.
The kinky stuff that you're into.
Exactly.
Oh, my goodness. That's the Cleveland Clinic latest research, latest study. They do this annual study on men's health. So we got to worry about and that's why a lot of men who are healthier have a woman in their lives, right? Whether it's your mom, your wife, your girlfriend, your significant
Explains
other.
my situation.
You're
Right?
pressing the hell out of Nick, Dawn.
I'm
What
sorry.
kind of big three is this?
Yeah, you got anything good?
Man.
In the big three, nobody's
Don't you have
taking
like
care of
Don't
Nick.
you have like a Bet Parks player prop you can give me that I can make some money tonight on, Dawn?
That's right, man. If you want to be happy, just go to Parks,
That's
okay?
right.
All right, that's it for our big three on this dreary, gloomy day. The sun comes out Wednesday morning.
All right, Dawn's big three, 9:40 here on this Monday morning. Let's get to what's on the cut sheet.
Sorry, Nick. I was premature.
Yes, man, and if you have premature issues, that can be corrected as well.
Sorry about that. I was a little quick on the trigger there,
Hey,
Nick.
I've heard that.
By the way, before we get to what's on the cut sheet part due, we post a lot of stuff over the weekend. Videos from us, from Rich, from Dom. We had a video posted of Dawn and Jimmy Fela. All kinds of videos. Would you guys care to guess what got the most play? Because you know we see analytics. Do you guys care to guess what post over the weekend? By the way, if you're not following us, follow us now, 1210 WPHT on Twitter. What post got the most play over the weekend?
I'm going to say Dom with the guest he had on Friday.
You would be wrong.
Matt Rooney.
You would be wrong. Well, it was a Matt Rooney tweet, but not the Matt Rooney on Jesse Waters' show.
Oh.
It was a photo that Matt Rooney tweeted out of our own Daniel Valdez with his girlfriend dressed up in like old-timey.
I
you know
love
those,
that.
You know those, yeah, those like Wild West type photos?
Yeah, I've done them with my daughters and my wife.
That got the most play of anything we by almost double.
Yeah.
By anything we posted
I have to say, I
over the
did
weekend.
retweet that. I
Did
loved
you?
it. Yeah.
Daniel, can you put that up for it? Go to YouTube, youtube.com/@1210WPHT. Or if you can't, if you're driving me right now, it's up on the Twitter page at 1210WPHT. But go to YouTube, Daniel, if you want to put that photo up. What do we think of the old-timey photos?
I love them.
Yeah.
I've always been a big fan. Although Valdez in that picture, like if that was a real weapon that he was holding, I would be concerned for everybody's well-being in that room.
He looks psych. Yeah,
He looks like a serial killer.
Yep. And he's there
I
with his beautiful girlfriend.
And no glasses on for Valdez in that picture.
No, holding up Jack Daniel's bottle.
Well, that's a good job out of him.
They have one of those old Tommy guns up there.
Yep.
This got the most play on Twitter over the weekend.
Yeah, so like when people tweet us, well, why don't you get back to what is this, Shock Jock Radio? And Greg says something. Maybe we'll spend more time talking about Trump. Maybe we know what we're doing here.
We do.
How about that?
YouTube.com/@1210WPHT if you want to see this photo. Look, it's.
I mean, it's a classic. I'm assuming that's like he's on the boardwalk at the Jersey Shore and went into one of those little spots. And I've done that in Jersey. I've done that in Ocean City, Maryland. I love that. That's so much fun.
Why are we talking about him like he's not here? Daniel, where'd you get this photo taken?
I was in Wildwood.
Yeah.
Wildwood.
Never mind.
That's what I figured.
Never mind. Have we all? I've done this photo.
Yes.
Have you done this photo, Nick Kale?
Multiple times.
Dawn Stensland, have you done this photo? Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's like the rite of passage.
Love it.
It is.
Yeah.
I actually did it. My best friend Colleen, she and her husband of many years, when they kind of took off for New Orleans and did a New Orleans wedding. So we went into one of those places. So I'm the bridesmaid with the shotgun.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's like the famous kind of a. But I love it. I love Daniel. I mean, this is right out of Central Casting with you and Bella. I love it.
YouTube.com/@1210WPHT. Daniel, I know this is for you, but I'm ordering you to do this. Can you put up a poll? Old-timey photos, yay or nay?
Yeah.
Yay or nay?
And by the
Who
way,
would not like it?
Valdez,
I don't know.
Valdez looks like he could be a mobster in Boardwalk Empire.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Like he'd be like Capone's right-hand man.
My only thing was I wanted to hold a gun. That was it.
But it's
I
not
walked in there and I said, what do you guys want to do? I said, I don't care. Just give me a gun.
Old-timey photos, yay or nay on the YouTube chat, youtube.com/@1210WPHT.
And by the way,
I'm gonna be an outlier, and I'm gonna say no.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Even though I've done it, it's very lopsided. Everybody voting yes.
And that picture of Valdez with that like look on his face, like he's ready to kill somebody.
Yeah.
That's the same look he gives me when I ask him to print out a story. So I've seen that firsthand, folks.
By the way, Daniel, your mother's in the YouTube chat, Daniel?
No way.
Of course she is.
Oh boy.
She's proud. She's proud of her Daniel.
Yeah. Daniel's mom checking in.
Yeah.
We've had Joe Biden
That's
check
awesome.
in. Who else have we had check in?
Anthony's mom.
Anthony's mom.
And his Nana.
Henry's dad is on here too.
Henry's dad.
Henry.
That's like a family affair.
Zioli show.
Okay.
One clip, because this is what's on the cut sheet. One clip before we go to break. Mara Gay was on with the Morning Joe crew this morning, saying the White House doesn't need to run away from the issue of Joe Biden's age.
Take it head on.
Contrary to what everybody else says, this is that clip.
A real mess.
Mara, there are clearly real concerns for the White House. The border situation, as Jay Johnson just laid out, very clearly one of them. The economy with the Federal Reserve suggesting that interest rates, which means car payments, a whole host of other payments are going to stay high, mortgage rates next year as well. And yet, poll after poll keeps pointing to a major concern amongst voters as being Joe Biden's age. I'm just wondering whether you think there's going to be a change of strategy in the White House now around how they address that. They've gone from kind of laughing off the age question to kind of getting irritated with reporters when we raise the age question. Do you think this is a moment where they have to have a kind of rethink on how they're selling their campaign?
I do think that they should start embracing the reality that the president is older, and that is a concern among Americans. But the problem is when you kind of ignore concerns or you treat them as silly, that only makes people more curious. Well, why aren't you talking about this? Why aren't you owning this? And I think embracing that and saying, lots of Americans are older, it doesn't mean that you need to put somebody out to pasture. This is a question of ability. This is a question of experience. There's something to be said for decades of experience in Washington getting things done. And I think that is kind of that pivot that they need to make. And I think the longer they delay that, the more space they give to Donald Trump, but also just in voters' minds, in the minds of independent voters, swing state voters, well, gee, let me just wait and see. And I think if you're Joe Biden, you really want to kind of coalesce your base at this point. And I also have to say that these polls, it is so early. And of course, how you contextualize these polls matter. So there may be many Americans who say, well, yeah, I'm a little concerned about Joe Biden's age. But if you ask them, would that stop you from voting for him? They may have a very different answer. So you don't want to make too much of it. But the White House doesn't need to run away from this issue.
Oh, no. They definitely need to run away from it because there's no way you can embrace it. What are you going to say? With age comes wisdom?
Well, I think that's her point, right? Is that you can't get away from it. Everybody
Correct.
knows his age, so why not run on it?
And the reality is, would his age be an issue if if Joe Biden was a good president and the economy was booming and crime was under control and the border was secure, age is less of an issue. But when you got a guy out there that doesn't know who he's talking to, doesn't know which way to exit the stage, is talking to the black caucus and brings up the Hispanic caucus, and then botches the LL Cool J thing is just the most recent example of cognitive decline, it's a bad look. It's the elephant in the room that there's no solution to.
Yeah, before all they wanted to talk about was Trump, the federal felon. Well, that hasn't worked, right?
Yep.
So now this is the new progressive and or Democrat talking point to say, oh, let's talk about Joe's age and debate that, or Fetterman's outfit. And so once again, we're not talking about the number one issue, which is the economy, which stinks right now for everybody across the board.
And they sit there and say, well, just because you're older and you're in your 80s doesn't mean you have to be put out to pasture. We're not saying that Joe needs to be placed in a retirement home or put down. We're just saying you can't be the president of the United States in this state of mind.
Yeah.
So
it's an interesting debate, obviously not one that this side of the aisle is having, but on the other side, do you run away from it or do you run on it? And I think it is something that a lot of the political advisors are debating right now. You know what I mean?
I just don't know how you run on it when you cater your messaging to Gen Z.
I agree.
I'm going to target 21-year-olds, but my guy is 81.
Yep.
21's going to look at 81 and be like, that's what you got? I mean, I'm saying that and I'm 40.
Yeah.
So, all right, there you go. that'll do it for What's on the Cut Sheet Part 2. It's 9:51. Time for our Disney keyword today. And, of course, you're going to take that keyword, go over to 1210WPHT.com, enter it for your chance at a free trip to Walt Disney World every morning at 9:50 for the month of September. So this is the last week. The keyword today is parks, not P-A-R-X like Parks Casino, but like theme parks.
Theme park.
P-A-R-K-S.
Yeah.
Parks. P-A-R-K-S is the keyword today. Take that to 1210WPHT.com and enter for your chance at a free trip to Disney World. All right. We got about 8 minutes until the Dawn Show comes up, and we find out what's on tap this morning at 10 o'clock.
Yeah, I'm going to look at another study, by the way, that talks about sex on the brain and what it helps protect against. So we'll have a little chat about that, this latest. And I apologize. I wish I had seen it because I'm incorporating it into the Cleveland Clinic, but this is another one.
Sex on the brain prevents good big takes.
You understand what she's doing here, Nick? She's saving all
No,
the good
it's
stuff
not
for
true.
her show.
I know.
I was actually looking. That's not true. I swear.
The coffee mug talk ended the dirty stuff on our show.
Holding things back.
I was never
Holding
trying to
things
talk
back.
dirty about
Yeah.
the coffee cup.
Yeah.
Everybody was thinking dirty.
I know. It's not your fault at all. But yes, it is true. It is true. She's holding back from us.
I'm not holding back. I swear to you. You know what? Here's the thing. There's so much material
know.
that I never have to because it's all breaking.
It's true.
And we don't know when Menendez, when is he going to speak? Is he going to do a little show and tell with his gold bar? What's he going to say? So we'll have all of that, obviously all the developing stories. But we have Amy Wilburn coming up at 10:05 after we update you and just talking about what's going on with immigration, bankruptcy, law expert here. She's of the Lincoln Goldfinch Law Firm and joins us to expand on the recent news from the Biden administration, right? And so we'll talk about that. And then 11 o'clock, Phil Kerpen, he will be here with his thoughts on the Biden-Harris medical debt and so much more. So big show ahead.
All right, I'm going to go home and go through my closet and see if I have any gold bars or cash laying around.
Do you?
Yeah,
Cash
probably
in
not.
envelopes.
But I just got to tie up all my loose ends before the feds get me. All right, 9:53. Let's find out who won Twitter today.
Who won Twitter?
Richard Nataro wins Twitter. He says, the cheerful Don Stanton is correct. We men rarely go to the doctor until it's too late. I didn't realize I had hypertension until I had a nosebleed that wouldn't stop. Thankfully, that happened instead of a stroke. I think that is the message that I want to everybody to take away from today's program. Go to the doctor and get checked.
Maybe we should live stream my physical on the YouTube channel when I go.
I mean, look, I'm a shill, so absolutely anytime we can do something.
You know, my health and my hip would be damned. I'll do it for the audience.
Yeah.
Anything to get clicks, right?
Yeah.
All right. That'll do it for us on this Monday. Have a great rest of your day. Oh, by the way, Eagles game tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Woo.
Wait, hang on.
Yes.
Let's do are we doing a 20 spot?
We do a 20 spot.
Okay.
I'm going to go Eagles 24, Bucks 20, which means
They don't cover.
They do not cover.
Okay.
And it goes under. But I think the Eagles get a close one. Tampa Bay's been pretty good this year so far.
All right, I'm going to go. I'm not going to give a score, but I'm going to say that they cover the spread at 4.5.
Okay.
And I'm going to go on the over at 45.
Dawn, Eagles, Bucks, your thoughts? Any pick?
I always, I'm never going to go against the Eagles. So that's why I love the individual player performances. But I'm never going to root like you guys do for another team. It's not going to happen.
We're all betting on the Eagles to win tonight.
Yeah, I just don't think they cover. That's all.
Yes.
Yeah.
See?
All right, you text me your player prop later. I'll make some money on that.
Dawn's going to Italy.
That's
I am,
true.
you guys.
In the spring.
What is happening?
I know.
You're going to do
really
the show
excited.
remotely, right? From like a gondola?
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, right. No, I'm seriously, so I have, admittedly, I went with my friend Colleen, who I talked about, to Rome.
Yep.
But I have not been to southern Italy.
Wow.
This is the trip of a lifetime, and we are ecstatic.
All right.
So you remember the last time with Dom, PHT travelers visited northern Italy. We are heading south. I'm talking southern Italy.